Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the September Showdown Quarterfinals stream. My name is Captain Fogg, and as always, I am joined by our wonderful team of casters and analysts. We got Hunter. Hunter, how's it going?
It's going good, thanks.
We got Shoefly Pie. Shoefly Pie, how's it going today?
Greetings.
LeConte as well joining us today.
Hello, good evening.
And Bestie Maker, last but certainly not least. Bestie, how's it going?
Doing great. Let's do this.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and show you these final brackets as they appear at the moment. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about these matchups and what we're expecting from today's stream. First up is going to be Dead Bones versus Bagel Denizen. Dead Bones is going to be, of course, the second place and third place runner-up for May Mayhem and July Joust, respectively. So he's really gunning for one of these tournaments one of these days. Hopefully he'll be able to get it. He's the number one seed. But what do you guys think about this first matchup, Dead Bones Bagel Denizen?
Well, it's going to be tricky for Bagel Denizen, I think is the right word to pull out the win here. Dead Bones obviously a very experienced player, but you know, he can always pull something out of the bag. Bagel Denizen took a game off of me, which I didn't expect, and the other two games were really, really close in the end. So he does have a good understanding of how the game works, but the question is, can he measure up against Dead Bones?
Yeah, I'd expect Dead Bones to probably run a similar deck to what he ran throughout most of the qualifiers, so hopefully Bagel watched some of those games and prepared. If he didn't, he's going to have a rough time because it is a tricky deck to deal with.
I think a good way to tell how Bagel is doing is whenever Dead Bones gets the chance to pull out his artillery. If you ever see that on the field, it does kind of mean Dead Bones is definitely in the lead of that game. But if Bagel is able to sort of close the gap before that can happen, I think we're going to see a pretty close matchup between these two.
All right, well, we're going to go through a quick beginner tutorial here for those of you who have never seen this game played before. Tooth and Tail is a game where commanders start out with a grist mill each. Around this grist mill, they can build 8 farms, just like this. These farms will produce 1 food per second, and that food can be used to purchase warrens. And these warrens will build units automatically for you as long as you have the food. And those units are what you're going to be using throughout the game to fight your opponent. The match or game is over when you destroy your opponent's last windmill. There's obviously a lot of strategy, different units you can take into battle, but that's the basics of how this game is played. So I believe we are just about ready to jump into our first match here. Of course, Dead Bones versus Bagel Denizen. So we're going to jump into this lobby right about now. Alright, here we go. We're going to have Bagel Denizen as Hopper, the red, and Dead Bones, of course, as the Quartermaster in green. We're just going to wait for these players to ready up. Of course, we have our poll as always. Go ahead and vote for who you think is going to win this particular match. We have red and green, so you can type ! Vote red or ! Vote green to vote. All right, Hunter, what are we seeing for these decks here? I see Dead Bones has pulled out his artillery, as he likes to do. Do you think we'll see that this game?
Yeah, he was really liking the artillery in the qualifiers, wasn't he? He was using it quite a lot. Like, not just taking it in his deck, but actually fielding it as well. So it'll be interesting to see that, I think. So here we go, going into game 1 of Bagel Denizen versus Dead Bones. We have Bagel Denizen to the east side of the map, in the red. Dead Bones to the west, in the green. So yeah, Dead Bones has gone for those artillery cannons, gone for foxes. Foxes have proved very popular thus far in the tournament, as have wolves, which is what Bagel has gone for. Both players going for scroll pigeons, also very popular, so both players going for somewhat of a standard build. Dead Bones is the only player who's really gone for those artillery, but he's made good use of them. So looking at this map, Bagel definitely has a better starting position with that nice little windmill he has right there. But Dead Bones has got quite a good defensive position with just a few entrances up on the high ground. So it could be fairly interesting. What do you think then, Captain?
Yeah, I really like this road that goes through the middle of the map. That doesn't always happen. It used to happen all the time, but the game has been changed slightly so that the road is a little bit more random. But right now we're going to have a highway that goes between both players' bases, so unit movement is a little bit faster on that road, which means we're going to see a lot of very fast and furious fights, especially since all the expansions are in that middle there. So very fast reinforcements, a lot of clashing in this game here. I'm going to go ahead and turn on that commander visibility so you can see what each commander is seeing as they see it on their screen.
Both players are going for 7-farm Warren into 8 farms and then into a second Warren. Both players are going for those double squirrel Warrens, so very standard stuff. No one pulling out any cheese for this first game. We haven't seen too much cheese this tournament. The standard builds are pretty strong right now, but we have seen a little bit, so you never know what someone's going to pull out.
Bagel Denizen pulling out a Warren of Pigeons. Pigeons, of course, healing your units as they walk along, and also throwing down lizards. That's an interesting choice there. You don't often see lizards and squirrels for players' builds. I know last tournament in July Joust we saw Xenoma Coop, Navy Ultima, use squirrels and lizards together very effectively, the squirrels kind of swooping around from the side with their speed. But because the lizards move a little bit faster than the squirrels, some players might shy away from using both of them in the same deck. Just because it's, your lizards tend to run out in front and get killed off, while your squirrels are trying to catch up from behind. But we'll see how this goes in. Bagel isn't throwing down a Warren of Ferrets now, jumping straight into it, just on one base here.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm actually interested to see how these squirrel lizards go, because I haven't seen them happen too often. And he's immediately gone for those ferrets, so he's going for a very varied army to start off with. While Deadbones is just relying on the squirrel power to get him through here, but he has got that second expansion already. He's got that nice one across that little stream. He's put 2 farms onto it so far, and Bagel's not put any onto any sort of expansion at all. Instead, he's coming in for some sort of an attack right now.
All right, we'll see if that sniper balloon gets up in time. Of course, it's not going to do too much against all these tier 1s. It does a lot of damage, so using a sniper balloon on tier 1s isn't as effective as it could be against, say, tier 2s. But Bagelizen has superior positioning on this hill here. That sniper balloon will give vision, so it may not matter as much. And both players have pigeons anyway, but here he comes in for the first attack, taking a lot of damage from that sniper balloon in the first shot on his commander. If that commander dies, he's only dead for 7 seconds because he has to walk all the way back to his army. So he loses army control for a little bit, but deciding maybe to back off just a little bit. He knows that sniper balloon is there now. He's going to have to figure out some way to deal with it, whether it's building more squirrels or... that's pretty much all he can do at the moment.
Yeah, so right now he's decided to pull out... What is that? He's building a wolf. That could be interesting. He's already got 12 squirrels and he's got 3 lizards, so a wolf could be interesting. It's not going to be up for ages though, and this could put him a little bit behind, especially as Deadbone's going up to a lot of farms.
Yeah. 14.
So if he can get it before those farms actually pay off, that could be a big deal.
Yeah, we'll see. Deadbones getting his own ferrets out, filling out his expansion in its entirety. We'll see. Once Bagelizen gets this wolf out, he might be able to push through that sniper balloon and through Deadbones' army. But Deadbones does have a lot of squirrels. Take a look at this army value graph here. Both players are actually about even. Bagelizen's been a little bit ahead, but that's because Deadbones has been building up his economy. You can see Deadbones has been ahead for a long time here, so in terms of long game, Deadbones is very much ahead. But we'll see if Bagelizen can take advantage of the fact that he has a slightly higher army value, but Deadbones is going to catch up quick if he doesn't do anything.
I don't think that's going to be too easy. Deadbones is playing fairly... He's sold the sniper balloon just now. He's going for more squirrels, it looks like. That's an interesting decision. He's already built a fox warren, so that's going to be on the way. And he's just building loads and loads of squirrels here. He's going up to 36. It's only 5 minutes into the game.
He's thrown down his fox. Here comes Bagelizen's army. Looks like the ferrets are going to trade some shots. Bagelizen is going to try and position himself on that hill for superior positioning. Backing off, not quite the right time, he says. Now his wolf's out. Very smart play.
Though.
Yeah.
Yep, he's got the wolf. He needs to attack right now while he has the advantage. This is an amazing time. The army value is fairly even, but with that wolf, There we go, the wolf buff goes off.
Wolf buff goes down. The pigeons get caught out in front, so they're going to serve as meat shields, taking down. They probably would have done more damage in the back, healing units. Lots of squirrels getting cut down here. Ferrets trading fire from the back. That he's got to protect that wolf, and the wolf goes down. Wolf is down. Bagel Denizen has lost, and Deadbone's own fox comes out. So now the fight swinging heavily in Deadbone's favor. Bagel Denizen forced to retreat. That fox picking off his ferrets as they retreat there, and this doesn't look good for Bagel Denizen.
No, certainly not. Losing that wolf is a massive deal. I think he could have pulled out there and just at least survived for a little bit, but Deadbones is just rampaging his base now. I don't think there's much chance of Bagel coming back in this game with this amount of units storming at him and this much reinforcements, even if he does manage to kill some.
There we go, he's lost his last farm, and here goes his last mill. Down it goes, Deadbones taking the win for Game 1. Alright, we're going to jump back into the lobby here, watch and see how the players decide to adjust their builds. Bagel Denizen fell a little bit behind in economy there.
Yeah, he went for a early wolf, and he was trying to get that timing attack down, but it just didn't really work out. That wolf buff went off at a really awkward time, and his entire army got wiped out, and he didn't manage to pull out of that fight at all. It was really a bad situation from there.
Remember, this is a best of 5, so Bagel still has at least 2 other chances to take a game from here. We have reset that poll, so go ahead and vote for who you think is going to win Game 2 by typing !vote red or !vote green. Here we go, Deadbones taking sniper balloons, taking the same build as last time. Taking that, yeah, the exact same build as last time. Yep.
That went very well.
Eagle taking that squirrel lizard again, taking so far the same build, and it could just be that they're relying on different maps to try and take the advantage back. You know, they've been playing with these builds all of qualifiers, so they're comfortable with what they have. They've found a build that's been working for them so far.
Here we go. Game 2 of Bagel Denizen versus Deadbones. We have Deadbones to the west of the map in the green, Bagel Denizen to the east in the red. This is an interesting base for Bagel here. He's got that high ground expansion, but it's actually quite locked off. He'd have to go just a little bit of a detour to get to it. And if Deadbones manages to take that position early, that could bomb his base completely. That would be a tough position for him. But Deadbones, on the other hand, no real nearby expansions. He's got that one to the northwest side of the map, across that little bit of a river, but it's a little bit awkward of a position, and it'll be hard to back up there. What do you think, Captain?
Definitely. I think Deadbones, we're going to see how each player reads the map in this case. Of course, because all Tooth and Tail maps are random at this point in the game, learning how to respond to the map, even when you have a bad one, is very important in this game. So we'll see how Deadbones decides to react. He's particularly good at reading the map, seeing what kinds of advantages or disadvantages he has, and then noting that and then adjusting his play accordingly. So in this case, we might see him take a forward base immediately or something in the north. But Deadbones definitely one of the best players. We're looking at a map, deciding how he needs to respond to it instead of just getting locked in the corner. A lot of players might just say, you know, I'm going to turtle up in this corner and then get lost in the long-term economic game. Bagel Denizen going for 7 farm into 2 warrens. Same as Deadbones. Turn on that visibility for you, so you can see what each player is seeing. Bagel really, in this game, needs to control the 3 bases outside of his own and kind of push things into the long run. That would be the safe bet, in my opinion. Because he definitely has an economic advantage if he can control all the 3 bases that are outside of his own.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be tough, though. That's a lot of area to have to control. But if he does manage to control that area, that pretty much locks off the north of the map as well, because it's very difficult to get to it. Unless you go across all that water, which is a bit tricky. Deadbone's going for some scouting right now. Gets taken out by Bagel. Not a big deal. He picks up that Bagel's just gone for the standard stuff. No cheesiness. Bagel's put one of his warrens up on the high ground. He's put a ferret warren up on the high ground as well. That's interesting. He wants to protect that mill up on that cliff there. That's probably a good idea, but that is a little bit risky. That ferret warren in a bit of a precarious position there.
Yeah, Deadbone's just going squirrel pigeon, just like last time. Both players with very similar builds. Bagel getting that slightly early ferret out. Deadbones has not chosen to expand yet. He's up to... Oh, it is going straight for the fox. So Deadbones saving up 240 food and going straight for that fox there. Apologies, we're getting a little bit of lag here.
Ooh. Okay.
Might be an internet connection on somebody's side. We'll see if it clears up. Again, this is not the game, just some internet.
So yeah, Bagel cancels that windmill up on the high ground, actually. Maybe focusing more on just army, and maybe he wants to go for some sort of early push rather than getting that economic advantage by protecting it.
Alright, it looks like Bagel Nizen might be having a few problems here. We'll see if he...
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a feature. It's slow-mo. That's definitely... It's something we intended to do.
Slow-mo.
Definitely, yeah.
Oh, he's moving.
Alright, there you go. He is moving slightly. We'll see if this clears up.
This is ridiculous.
In the meantime, we have tons of time to analyze everything that's happening. Squirrel number 11, moving to the left by 4 feet. Deadbones.
That ferret missing every one of his shots. He just needs to micro that ferret just a little bit better.
Okay, we'll see.
What is going on?
I don't know. Players might end up calling this. Somebody's internet connection is a little bit funky. We'll see here. In the meantime, Deadbone's Fox Warren is getting close to being done. Just throwing down as many squirrels as he can. We'll see if it'll be up in the next 5 minutes based on the movement here. Yeah, I think both players are deciding this might be a little ridiculous. So let's see if we can communicate with our players here and get them to restart this match, because it looks like if it keeps going at this speed, it's going to take a long, long time. So bear with us just a moment.
Technical difficulties. Please hold.
There we go. All right. So that doesn't actually count as a win. We're going to restart that match.
Yeah. Unforeseen technical difficulties.
Sometimes it happens. The game is still in alpha. Yes, this match is live. Looks like Bagel's going to jump out and back in real quick.
So yeah, Bagel was going for pretty much the same strategy as last game. He was going for the squirrel pigeons, going up to, what, like 9, 12 squirrels, and then immediately building, like, it was a fairly early ferret warren.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting build. I'm not sure how much those early ferrets really pay off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they can be valuable for those, like, almost guaranteed picks off of at least, like, one squirrel. It's very hard to dodge with a large army, but in the early mid kind of game, I don't know how valuable it actually is. So here we go, going into the real game 2, we have to the southwest end of the map, we have Bagel Denizen versus his opponent Deadbones to the north end in green. And this map is interesting. It's actually fairly similar to the last one. Kind of. There's that high ground near Bagel's base with a windmill on it that's quite hard to get to, but then he has that expansion right in front of him, which is very tasty. And Deadbones does the same thing. This entire east end of the map is completely out of it.
Okay,
That's interesting. What do you think of this map?
You can get to the east part of the map, but it's very difficult. And there's no mills over there, so there's no point in going over there anyway. All the mills are on this west side, so this is actually interesting. Half the map has been cut off, which means there's a lot fewer places to maneuver. So we'll see if Bagel Denizen with those lizards is at a disadvantage, because lizards generally do better when you have more space to maneuver. Nice wide open fields to try and pick off farms. But in this case, there's about 2 ways to go. You can go straight down the center, or you can go to the west. And a lot of the fighting is going to be in the west here, over those mills. So we'll see.
I don't think that's going to be too much of a hindrance to him, actually. He's got a fairly versatile little build set there. with all those units. I think he can just switch out, just only produce squirrels, like how he was planning the other game. I think that could work out fairly well for him. He needs to take that forward expansion at some point. Just because Deadbones went for the expansion before Bagel in that first game and did completely overpower him in there. Going for that early wolf didn't really pay off. I'll be interested to see what he tries to do this game.
Alright, well, here we go. Both players going for 7 farm warrens into squirrels. Again, this patch favors squirrels, just like Mayhem. We've had a couple players varying up the meta, but we'll see how things progress through these quarterfinals. Both players going for pigeons after their squirrels. Neither player getting an expansion quite yet. I'm interested to see that, because Bagel Denizen will put down a ferret warren fairly soon, if I'm not mistaken, if he keeps going for that. I would call it an early ferret warren. There it goes, right there.
But this game, Deadbones has gone for the early ferret warren. He put one earlier than Bagel. Bagel's done one just now, but Deadbones is finished already, and he's already building his first ferret. So that's interesting, very interesting. Ferrets could be quite strong on this map. There's no way to flank them at all. You'd have to come straight at the army, which I think plays well into the squirrel ball kind of idea. You just want the enemy to force themselves into you because you will win the direct engagements with that raw DPS that you really get from the squirrel balls.
Taking a look at the army value graph here, Deadbones is pulled a little bit ahead, again probably because of those tier 2s that he got out slightly earlier. In terms of military structures, both players are pretty even. Economic, both players again are fairly even. But we see Deadbones spending his food a little bit more efficiently than Bagel Denizen. But here we go, Deadbones taking his ferrets, poking away at some squirrels. Again, in this early game, taking out a couple squirrels before the first engagement is a good idea.
That's already, he's got that ferret paid off. That's 80 food worth of squirrels killed while Bagel was just doing something elsewhere on that little base that he has to the south end of the map. He was building that. So that's a pretty good start for Deadbones here.
Alright, picking off 2 pigeons. Not too much of an economic downturn, but again, in armies this equal, that might make the difference here. Pigeons will come back fairly soon. They're a tier 1 unit. But Deadbones, in the meantime, is taking the base. Is much easier for him. It's his only base to expand to. But Bagel Denizen has to kind of run back through his base to put farms down. Whereas Deadbones, placing his farms is kind of on the route that he needs to go to reach his opponent anyway. So Deadbones slightly more advantage with his base here. Bagel isn't throwing down the wolf though. Again, 2 base wolf. He has expanded. He does have 3 farms down as his expansion. Deadbones.
Yep, I think that's a pretty good plan.
Yep.
Once he builds up a few more squirrels, that's just going to be truly devastating. He's going up to 18 right now. I wouldn't be surprised if he builds even more warrens. And even with a small amount of warrens, that wolf buff can really just do a massive amount of work. And he's taking a 3rd expansion. He's taking that forward one. I'll be interested to see if he's using that just for a defensive position, or if he was going to build an economy on that. But he decides to sell it, and here's a fight right now.
Alright, ferrets taking shots from the background. Looks like a lot of Bagel Denizen squirrels came away from that curtain. Sniper balloon is out, and it is going to get up in time, so Deadbones taking some control of that middle there. His squirrels pushing Bagel Denizen's army back. Bagel Denizen forced to sell that expansion again. Again, we have passed that 5-minute mark, so the first 4 farms on each player's base have been farmed out. They will no longer produce food. Deadbones smartly getting back here to scout a little bit, and he'll dig back to his own base. It only takes a couple seconds.
That's a really bad situation for Bagel now. Now that he's lost that forward position, he has no real map presence, and he hasn't got the expansion fully up and running like Deadbones has. He's got 7 farms running on his expansion, Deadbones has, but Bagel only has 3 on that entire time. So now he's down to 7 farms.
And Deadbones throwing really down some artillery. See if it gets up in time. It's about half done here. Bagel has seen it though and wants to get in there before it started. The wolf is down. The wolf buff goes out and squirrels are melting left and right. Deadbones sells that artillery. He's forced to sell it. That sniper balloon looks like it's also going to go down, but not before it takes out its fair share of squirrels. That wolf is still alive, but it's going down very quickly. Save that wolf, Bagel Denizen. 4 health, 3 health, gone. So the Wolf is down, unfortunately. Bagel couldn't sell it, and Deadbones' reinforcements come back in. You can see here Deadbones was very far down, but Bagel stayed perhaps a little bit too long. And ended
Yeah,
up
that was a
losing.
really good Wolf attack, actually. He got the sniper balloon, he took out a majority of Deadbones' army, but he just got way too greedy there. He could have easily pulled out, just waited for his mostly tier 1 army to reinforce, which would have been fairly quick, and then just gone on the offensive again. But now he has to wait for that Wolf, which he doesn't even have the food to produce. This is a really bad situation for Bagel here. Deadbones with a very strong economic situation here.
Yeah,
Actually, now that all his original bases have died, he's actually the same as Bagel coming up here.
Yeah, Deadbones has had those farms out for longer, though, so he is ahead in terms of economy, and he's building those last two. Putting on that artillery in there, artillery does get out, and it's accompanied by a sniper balloon, so it can see everywhere the sniper balloon can see, which means Bagel Denizen is now locked into this corner, unless he can sneak out to the left and take that west base, which Deadbones has just taken. Here we
I
go.
don't think he can, though. Oh, those artillery shots!
Massive, taking down tons of squirrels, and Deadbones is going to push in right now. He knows he has the army advantage, and now is a great time to push in. He has economic advantage. Going to pull out a little bit, perhaps deciding now is not quite the time. But Bagel is now very scared of that artillery. There we go. He's baited that shot there. We'll see if he can sneak around.
Yeah, he can't actually get to that other position, not only because of Deadbones' windmill there, but also because those trees are in the way. He has to go into the line of fire to even get there. It's just out of the situation. He just can't do that at all.
Oh yeah, you're right. Deadbones already with 4 farms down on that expansion, so juicier target, but again, there's not really any way for Bagel to get out of his base. I thought there was a pathway between those trees, but it looks like on the minimap there is no pathway through those trees without running through artillery. Here we go, Bagel trying to sneak around the side, though. We'll see if it works. He's just barely out of the range. There we go.
No.
Oh, no.
Oh.
And all of the squirrels get taken out with just 2 shots, and the rest of the army scythed in half. Deadbones.
Yeah.
Just absolutely eliminating Bagel Denizen's army, and now he's free to go in and take as much damage as he wants. The Pigeon's leading the charge here. Warren after Warren's going to fall right now. The Wolf is out. The Wolf buff does go down, but there's just too few units here to make a difference here. The Wolf standing his ground to the last, goes down.
You can really see why Deadbones likes to take those artilleries now. That was a really strong play there. Something that just a sniper balloon couldn't have actually managed. Holding that position, that was really strong. So Deadbones takes game 2.
All right, the score is now 2-0 in favor of Deadbones. We're going to go ahead and wipe that poll. Go ahead and tell us who you think is going to win game 3. Can Deadbones 3-0 Bagel Denizen, or can Bagel Denizen claw his way back from this quarterfinals best of 5 series?
You know what? I think Bagel actually has a good shot. He was really close that game. That Wolf timing attack has a lot of potential. He just needs to know when to pull out, because he just stayed there too long. He's decided now to swap out those lizards in his build for artillery, and I think that's a really good decision, because he was not building those lizards at all. And I don't know about artillery, but I think anything could be better than lizards in his current build, at least the way he's playing it.
Yeah.
So here we go, going into game 3. Deadbones to the west end of the map in the green, versus his opponent Bagel to the east end of the map in red. And I should point out, if Deadbones takes this game, he goes on to the semi-finals. So Bagel needs to win this to stay in.
You've got a nice, lovely road in the middle. Again, a highway between both bases. Be nice for players reinforcements along that main road. The bases are all spread out over this map. Nice even spread for both players. Safe expansions. Deadbones is a little bit closer and on a hill, whereas Bagel Denizen has to walk around a little bit to get to his expansion. So make it a little bit more difficult for him to reinforce, but his main base is very defensible, with only 2 entrances in the same cardinal direction. Here we go, turn on that commander visions. You can see what they see. Bagel's gone
When
forward.
Deadbones decided gone for a more greedy build, actually. He's decided to ditch the 7 farm warren he usually goes for, and is going for an 8 farm warren. So maybe recognizing this map is quite big, and he can actually get away with that really easily. The amount of time it takes to reinforce across the map means that Deadbones will have a fairly even army if Bagel goes for an early attack. And Bagel's just gone for the 7 farm warrant again. Just the standard stuff.
Yeah, we'll look at these graphs here. You can see how that 8 farm has affected it. You can see Deadbones coming a little bit ahead. Just a little bit of food there, food advantage. So maybe not a huge difference in the long run, given how quickly Bagel Denizen got that other farm there. But here we go. Army values. Deadbones coming a little bit ahead. Deadbones is gone for the classic Deadbones base down in the south here. We'll see if Deadbones, or if Bagel Denizen ever scouts it. A lot of times, Deadbones will take a base across the map and just absolutely pile on farms. And his opponents will be confused as to why they're not ahead economically. It's because scouting is important. Always scout the entire map.
Especially against Deadbones.
Especially.
Oh, but it looks like Bagel's actually going to spot this immediately. He's going exactly to where it is.
Let's see, has he? He is. He's gone up on the ledge, so he has scouted it, and Deadbones has canceled those farms there. So Bagel's going to get a free 60 food here. Not a huge loss, but still, Deadbones has been thwarted, at least for the moment, until he takes this northern base. Because why not?
He's just going to go for that one instead. Because, you know, there's no more secret expansion. I just took out the secret expansion, and now he's going in for an attack right now.
All right, fight here, and Bagel and squirrels are all around the map. Some of them have reinforced, but they're all coming back in right now, and Deadbones is going to get some free Warren kills out of this, it looks like. Takes down one Warren. Is he going to be able to take... No, he doesn't get it. He isn't able to take down a second one, and now Bagel Denizen has an advantage here. Now would be the time to counterattack. As
the expansion.
It's going to take out this expansion, yeah. It is a free 60 food. Deadbones, of course, expanding down here. We'll see whether 120 food is enough to put Deadbones at a disadvantage, but remember that he had those 8 farms slightly ahead of Bagel Denizen.
That's true, and he's built that expansion before Bagel Denizen as well, so Bagel Denizen may be focusing on just ending the game right now. He has a quite strong army. Looking at army value, is much stronger than Deadbones. And with that ferret, he can really do a lot of damage to those structures.
All right, there we go. Green squirrels coming in from the north against the red squirrels. Lots of pigeons flying out in the front, but that's okay, I guess. The green squirrels managing to beat back a little bit. Those last ferret didn't quite reinforce in time. It looks like Deadbones might be okay for the moment here. Reinforcements again from Bagel Denizen running along that road, getting a little bit of a speed boost, but looks like he has fended off Bagel Denizen's attack here, and is going to start pushing out himself. I don't know if
Deadbones actually has more tier 1 warrants than Bagel now, so he can reinforce way faster, and with these mid-field engagements like this, I think that really pays off. He's starting to lose the fight now, but he can just pull back, and if Bagel decides to push forward, he will just destroy him again.
It's true, looking at this army value, Bagel Denizen is pulled way ahead in terms of army value. Almost twice the army value now. It looks like New Zealanders have just been reinforcing 15 squirrels and almost 2 ferrets against Deadbones. Oh, yes, Deadbones also has 15, just without those ferrets. And he has just created that last Warren, though. So, staying equal, a little bit of focus on econ in the beginning. He's on 9 farms to Bagel Denizen's now 4. So 5 farms to 4 now. We passed that 5-minute mark. The first 4 farms have been taken out, and now Bagel Denizen realizes he might be in trouble. He doesn't have his expansion up. He's going to go in for the attack right now, taking out that sniper balloon.
Oh, no.
Ferret's firing from the back here, but he's losing too many squirrels retreating. In this game, especially with this patch, retreating is a terrible idea. Your opponent's squirrels get free shots on your own squirrels. Looking at the army value, very much closer now. Deadbones shot up to begin with, but much closer army value.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning that a lot of the army value is from Bagel's ferrets, which are actually doing fairly poorly in the latest fights. Like these midfield engagements, Deadbones' squirrels just seem to do a little bit better, and he's building more expansions than Bagel as well. Bagel's only just got his expansion, he's only just got a few of his farm starts up, but Deadbones has already farmed quite a lot.
Deadbones, of course, scouting this expansion, seeing that it's up, seeing how many farms his opponent has, and adjusting his strategy accordingly. Bagel Denizen outside the front of Deadbones' base. Those ferrets do a lot better when you're able to poke with them a little bit, and I think these engagements just haven't been long enough for those ferrets to really make a huge difference. Ferrets' rate of fire, although their DPS is pretty high, 10 damage for every shot, the fact that they fire so slowly means that in a lightning engagement, they're not going to do a whole lot of damage. You might as well just have more squirrels for the amount of food that you sink into ferrets. Deadbones with his own ferrets out now. 18 squirrels for Deadbones to 15 for Bagel Denizen. So Deadbones is going to pull ahead here. Now he's exactly even in army value.
It's interesting, very interesting. But Bagel does have that nice high ground, stopping Deadbones from really doing much with the map. Bagel's got control of pretty much all of the relevant map. Deadbones can still expand to the south end.
Ooh, and a bold move here.
Okay.
Bagel, oh, maybe not deciding to build it. If he did build it, he might have spaces to put down his sniper balloons or his artillery and lock Deadbones out of this northern part of the map here, but army value is not quite in his favor. Decides to put a sniper balloon back down in a little bit safer position instead.
Yeah, it would be a little bit of a risk to try and take that position because it would put him down behind on army value, and if Deadbones did a really good timing on his attack, he'd be able to take down those defenses before they properly go up. But it would be a really interesting strategy to see, especially seeing as he's just taken these artillery. He hasn't really shown us any of his uses of them yet. But he decides to go for that northern base right at the top of the map instead, while Deadbones is just pushing forward on this road with his ferrets, just poking a little bit. And now he's put down a forward sniper balloon as well. That's going to give him some good map control.
Alright, here we go. He's seen that Bagel Denizen has his own sniper balloon out there, so a little bit of a standoff here. Remember that high ground doesn't do as much of... doesn't make as much of a difference as it could otherwise because both players have pigeons, and pigeons will give you vision onto that high ground. But Deadbones recognizing that fighting into a sniper balloon, even with a horde of tier 1s, isn't a great idea. Throwing down artillery instead. We'll see if Bagel Denizen spots this in time to prevent it from going up. Deadbones is going to poke with his ferrets. We'll see. Bagel may not have actually spotted that artillery going up. Otherwise he would have rushed in like we've seen him do before. Instead, focusing on getting some economy going up top, so pulling slightly ahead in terms of economy. But Deadbones is going to start picking away at the... Unfortunately, no ferret shots landing on pigs. The pigs slightly dodging. But smart ideas there from Deadbones to try and pick away at the economy of Bagel Denizen while Bagel Denizen's up and away in the corner of the map.
This is an interesting position right now, where Bagel has put a lot of his food into more farms right now. But Deadbones has put his food into that defensive position with that artillery, but it's still ahead on army value. He's still doing really well on army value because Bagel hasn't been developing his at all during this time. He's putting down artillery right outside that natural expansion, and he's working on that northern expansion, but Deadbones just like instantly puts all of his farms onto his new expansion, and that's going to be up and running really quickly, and putting him in an advantage very shortly, I think.
Alright, well, both players with artillery out right now. Deadbones is going to... Oh, no! And both of his ferrets got taken out with an artillery shot. He was trying to bait that artillery fire as much as he could, but the ferrets and artillery have the same range. So as soon as those ferrets get within range of the artillery, they start to fire at the ferrets instead of the commander. So unfortunately for Deadbones, losing both those ferrets. But Deadbones does have 15 farms to Bagel Denizen's 13, so the longer this game goes on, the farther ahead he's going to pull in terms of economy. Bagel is deciding to put down... Oh, those farms are kind of in harm's way right now. He sells one of them and tries to put it back. Here we go, though. That ferret able to pick away at that mill there because of that sniper balloon's vision. And there's not a whole lot that Bagel Denizen can do right now because as soon as he moves forward, that artillery is going to come into play. So he's going to go for the wolf. I think this is going to be the key to his strategy. Getting that wolf out and trying to push through, maybe to the south. Yeah.
He'd have to push away from that front line, definitely, because even with the wolf, like that doesn't help his squirrels whatsoever against the artillery. So he's going to have to play this really carefully. I think going for the wolf is probably the right idea, because the longer he waits on his buildings right now, the more Deadbones is going to pull ahead with his nice farm placement. He can't take that gristmill in the middle of the map anymore because Deadbones has got such a good position. And he tries to push forward and he just half his army gets destroyed. And Deadbones might even be able to use this to push forward. Maybe he's just gonna keep poking. Like there's no disincentive to him doing that.
And we'll see both players with artillery, so the ferrets are going to have to do the job in the meantime. 4 ferrets out for Deadbones right now. He's going to be able to take out a fair number of squirrels if the poke continues. Some ferret shots landing from Bagel Denizen, not quite getting those ferrets out of the way in time, but pigeons coming in to save the day and heal those ferrets. Deadbones has started his own foxes. Fox is out. There it is right now. It is on the field. We'll see if he can use that and his ferrets to poke through. Here we go. 6 ferrets now for Deadbones. Lots of ferret shots. Bagel Denizen trying
realized he can't really build those squirrel armies anymore thanks to all these artillery, so he's just building loads of ferrets. And now that he's weakened the army, he's just going after squirrels.
Oh, and a huge number of squirrels from Deadbones falling all at once. Almost all of his squirrels getting taken out. He does have a nice safe defensive line to fall back to, but mistake from Deadbones. Getting just barely in the range, and Deadbones is going to throw down another piece of artillery and another sniper balloon to creep up his defenses.
Oh, this is ridiculous.
Looking at army value here, Deadbones is pulled ahead, but these army values are ridiculous. There we go, those 6 ferrets managing to take out that artillery, so tanking those shots, and in the meantime, but here we go, Wolf Buff is out.
Oh, Wolf.
Melting through the units. That artillery from Deadbones is out now. It's going to start firing back as well, and the rest of Bagel Denizen's army is taken out. And Deadbones charging in now, taking out the sniper balloon that's left with his army of squirrels. Only 3 ferrets left, with the fox backing up the army. And this spells the end for Bagel Denizen. 16 farms for Deadbones. Bagel has a lot of farms. He's still got 11, but his units just aren't reinforcing fast enough to be able to stop this economic damage that Deadbones is doing. Here he goes up into that.
Breaking through that defensive line has just left Bagel Denizen completely defenseless. These units mean nothing to Deadbones' offense right now.
And this is the end. Deadbones is going to move on to the semifinals, unless Bagel Denizen can put. No, he can't. So surrendering. Deadbones is going to move ahead into the semifinals. What a match!
That was a great match. Bagel Denizen putting up a great fight there, taking that mid game fairly decisively, taking that midfield with that high ground base. He was doing a good job there. That was really close.
Yeah, definitely. All right, we're going to take this back to the casting desk. We're going to see what people think. We're going to do some analysis. So I'm going to pass it back to you guys. Deadbones versus Bagel Denizen. Shoefly, what are your thoughts?
All right, so first thing, throughout all those games, a common theme was that Deadbones made sure he was always at an economy advantage. In the first game, Bagel tried to get some early ferrets, but by the time he could get them up, Deadbones already had a defensive balloon, and Bagel couldn't use those ferrets to pressure anymore, and so he just fell behind on economy without getting much benefit from that. In the second game, Bagel did a bit better. He learned a little bit and pressured a bit earlier with some squirrels, but he did make some mistakes when Deadbones tried to build an artillery turret, and Bagel tried to stop that with his wolf, but stayed in a bit too long, as you guys had mentioned, and lost his wolf, and then couldn't really recover from that. And then game 3, I was really impressed. It really showed how much Bagel learned and adapted over this series, learning to take the artillery himself, and was able to sort of mirror Deadbones' defensive style and keep Deadbones at bay. I think the biggest turning point in that game, though, was that Bagel was forced to put his defenses a bit further back, and so didn't have as much map control as Deadbones did, whereas Deadbones was able to put his balloons and artillery turret in a more forward position and sort of zoned Bagel away, which allowed Deadbones to get more expansions and get an economic lead. So what do the rest of you guys think?
I think you're spot on there, because Deadbones is master of map control. He understands which positions he needs to secure. He understands how to play the game in a way that will favor him as the game goes on, and we saw that in most of this series, where he places a single balloon in the first game, and then balloon and artillery duos in the later games, where he controls more or less more mills than his opponent, or at least forces his opponent out of a certain corner of the map. So that way, he is sure that if the game goes late, he has the advantage. I want to point out, in Game 2, Bagel Denizen finally got a great wolf buff off, but then unfortunately couldn't quite micro his wolf to not die in the rest of his army, but the timing on that was amazing, which unfortunately wasn't that great in Game 1. His wolf was just a little bit too early, and like the later half, the back half of his army couldn't quite do the damage it needed to do. So if that wolf buff had been a second later, maybe that game could have gone differently. And I did like how Bagel adapted throughout the series, and Game 3 was... I mean, it took the longest for Dead Bones to actually win. He felt comfortable. Well, it looked like he felt comfortable, but I did feel like Bagel was catching on to how he could potentially beat him. So, yeah, maybe if there were more games, then Bagel could win one, and then we could see where the game would go from there. But unfortunately, Dead Bones will proceed into the semifinals.
Right.
I do want to point out, like, I think Dead Bones just did a better job of, knowing which units to pull out at certain times, and that was sort of the thing that Bagel was kind of seemed to be struggling with, is that he didn't really know how to transition into a different type of army composition. I think it was really clear in the third game when it was a standstill due to the artillery on both sides, where neither Squirrel army could actually push in without being obliterated by artillery. So you see Dead Bones instead transition into 3 Ferret Warrens, giving him 3 ferrets, sorry. I can't count. It gives him 6 ferrets, and 6 ferrets on the field in a game, long drawn-out game like that, where there's like a clear middle line drawn between 2 players. It makes ferrets extremely valuable because they don't have to commit a lot in order to go into attack. And if you find that perfect spot to attack from, it becomes really hard to defend against. And that's, I think, what ultimately costed Bagel the game, is that he couldn't really respond to the ferret and fox at the end of the game.
All right. Well, I think we are just about ready to move on to our second match here. We're going to have Classic Metal versus Valantly. Thoughts on this next matchup? Classic Metal versus Valantly. Shoot Fly Pie. I know we've seen Classic Metal use squirrels to great effect in July Joust and again in September Showdown with the sprinkling of other units here. What are your thoughts on Classic Metal's strategy?
I think this patch works pretty well in Classic Metal's favor. He's known to really like using squirrels a lot, and squirrels are very strong in this patch. I'm interested to see what Valently pulls out, actually, because I know he's been experimenting with some other stuff, so we'll see if he changes up the meta a little bit with what he pulls out and catches Classic Metal off guard.
All right, well, let's go ahead and jump into this match then. Unfortunately, our 2 players were not able to play this game live, so we have the recordings of that match here. It's going to be Classic Metal versus Valantly Game 1. And let's go ahead and throw the window down here. Are you guys ready to go ahead and start this game?
Yes.
Absolutely.
All
Let's
right.
go.
We're going to start this Game 1 in 3, 2, 1. I'm going to pass it off to our casting team of Best T, Maker, and Lecante. Take it away, guys.
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are at the quarterfinals here. Classic Metal versus Valantly. And Classic Metal going for an interesting build indeed. Moles and Barbed Wire are in his deck. Meanwhile, Valantly going with his usual triple tier 1s.
I wouldn't say this is a unusual build for Classic Metal. He's been using Barbed Wire to good effect for most of the tournament. He really likes the Fox, so he does go with the Fox as well. Sniper Balloon has become a staple unit in this tournament, so both players do have the Sniper Balloon. The Moles are a bit of an odd one out, but perhaps there will be, maybe in this game or in one of the later games, he can pull off a Mole Rush of sorts. We'll see how that goes.
Now, I'm a little bit curious about Valantly's builds, is that he's not going for any tier 3 units. He's actually going to go full-on tier 1 with 1 tier 2, and then he's going to go Sniper Balloon and Artillery, which is not really something we've seen from him. At least not the artillery.
No, the artillery was more or less just a Dead Bones thing for most of the tournament, but perhaps Valently has picked up on the fact that it is really good for securing map position, and he doesn't have tier 3, but the artillery cannon definitely has the firepower of a tier 3 unit and has the cost to back that up. So if he can get a good position and get control of the 3 windmills in the middle of the map, denying them from Classic Metal, then he does have a good shot of winning the game as it goes later.
All right, we do see Classic Metal plopping down a barbed wire right now onto that elevation right outside his base. And, you know, speaking of these bases here, this map, it's a pretty flat map, I have to say.
More or less. I would say Valently does have a bit of an advantage because he has those 2 forward grist mills that are on the high ground. I want to point out that the barbed wire from Classic Metal is really well placed. It denies access or easy access onto the high ground right outside his base. And Valently, unless he goes lizards, can't kill the barbed wire, so he's basically blocked from using that high ground as a staging point for an attack.
And it does look like Valently will be opting for an early Ferret Warren instead, plopping that down pretty fast as soon as his 8 farms were done and 3 squirrel warrens. In the meantime, Classic Metal still opting to build up a squirrel army.
Fairly standard. Squirrels are good value for what they cost, so building squirrels is a good idea. Valently doesn't have tier 3, so I think it makes sense that he goes with earlier tier 2 to apply some pressure while he can. He should add in some pigeons soon to be able to contest the high ground with his ferrets. Otherwise, he has no way of seeing what's up there. He goes for the forward base. I'm not sure if he scouted the base to the south or right to the southeast of his main base, but perhaps his plan is to fortify this position with his artillery and sniper.
And here we go, a few first shots fired as the ferrets are going to be chasing Classic Metal out of the middle area. It looks like Valently is actually going to be going in right now. He's going to position his squirrels on the low ground, he himself on the high ground, so he can get vision to the squirrel units. But all of his squirrels are nearly taken out. There we go, the last squirrel now just taken out, and Classic Metal is charging right back in, trying to take out the ferrets.
Yeah. All of Classic Metal squirrels were positioned on the high ground, and it looks like he will almost. He does get the mill, and now Classic Metal can. He's still fighting.
Right now, Valently's still trying to push Classic Metal away from this area, and he does successfully defend, but he does lose an expansion up there, which is going to be quite costly.
Was a good win for Classic Metal because he denies Valently the potential of fortifying the position, and Valently didn't have the pigeons to provide him with high ground vision, so he was forced to run in his commander and couldn't micro his army because his commander had to be on the high ground.
Alright, in the meantime, Classic Metal now has his own ferrets online as he puts down his first farm, just shoring up for the next half of the game here, as it looks like he might think about charging in. He's just wandering around Valently's destroyed mill, see what he can do here. Valently this time will be plopping down a sniper balloon of his own.
But unfortunately, the balloon won't do much to protect this expansion now that Classic Metal has his ferrets up, so he kind of lost his timing window. Valently has to think about expanding soon, or he might just build up a giant army and then try and push for that, but Classic Metal's position is really good.
And right now, Classic Metal putting down the sniper balloon of his own right next to the barbed wire. Just giving some more vision to his units there. And looks like Valently just putting down some more ferrets. He's going to be grabbing the expansion to the left. A little bit farther away from Classic Metal's little fortress he has up here on this 3-tier high ground.
I don't like how Valently insists on these forward bases. He probably wants to play with his structures, but still, he has scouted the base all the way in the west side of the map, so he could take that. He unfortunately did not scout the base to the southeast of his main base, from what I can tell. So I don't know if he can even get these structures up now that Classic Metal has ferrets and his own sniper balloon. It's going to be really tricky for him to make that work.
Here we go, some ferrets just firing shots at each other on the ledge. Valently pulling his units back just to avoid any confrontation, just in case he loses out that fight. But I mean, it looks like Classic Metal is in a much better position right now. He has 10 farms up. Valently only has 4 farms to his name. His farms having died out already, and we're past the 5-minute mark. He has no farms on his expansion to the left there. And now, it looks like Classic Metal is going to get some free hits onto the Squirrel Army.
Very nice play from Classic Metal.
And here we go. Valently feels pressure. He's going to be inching a little bit closer towards Classic Metal's fortress here, but see if we can do anything with it. He does have the pigeons to help out with vision, but right now, Classic Metal just dancing around the shots with his units. Valently already loses 1 ferret, the second ferret now There it goes. It does go down.
Yeah, Valenti loses 3 ferrets there, and the sniper balloon from Classic Metal just shot down unit after unit, and now Valenti has 1 farm left, and the other one is still building, so he has to rely on his balloons. But Classic Metal can just sit back. He has a fully mining base, and he can get a different one that Valenti can't really contest, because the moment Valenti's army leaves, he dies.
Alright, now Classic Metal will be bringing out his ferrets aggressively out into the open. He feels the victory is close for him, but can he actually close it out here? Valenti still has a pretty good army on his side, although Classic Metal is winning out in terms of sheer number.
Classic Metal has a lot of time in this game if he wants to. Valenti is very far behind in economy. It's going to take a long time before he can even catch up. Or even expand his army.
And now he's swinging around his army. Can he see if he can get any shots here? Both ferrets, their shots flying far, but nothing really connecting quite yet. Both of them dancing around each other. Here we go. Have a bit of engagement here. The ferrets are now landing shots on both sides right now. But it looks like Classic Metal's units are thinking more about the warrens rather than engagement, as the ferrets are still poking away at Valenti's units. And Valenti, he's stuck behind the houses, but he's not really sure what he can do as he's watching his units die one by one. And now he only has a single ferret on his entourage.
He's
One
trying
more
the best
ferret
he
pops
can.
out.
But Valenti took the fight.
That's it.
Yeah, that's game 1 going to Classic Metal, taking the fight away from the sniper balloons. Which was a great way to close out the game by moving around those balloons.
Alright, and there we go. Game number 1 going to Classic Metal against Valenti there. Let's see how things will go in game number 2. Are we ready?
Ready.
Okay,
Alright.
Captain Falk, you want to do a countdown?
All right, we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and
All
pass
right,
it
we're
back
back.
to the casting team.
Oh, sorry. Alright, game number 2. It's going to be Classic Metal versus Valenti. Let's see if Valenti can get some revenge after that last game. And it looks like Valenti's going to be changing up his composition a little bit. He's going to be ditching the artillery. He never got the chance to use it. Instead, he's going to be opting for snakes.
Opting for the snake to counteract the sniper balloon, because the snake poison does affect structures, so if you get 1 shot at a sniper balloon, the balloon will live with, I believe, 2 HP or something. So with 1 squirrel shot or another snake shot, you do end up killing the balloon in a single engagement. Classic Metal is going with the same standard play. Now, unfortunately for Valenti, he doesn't have the best options to expand. So it's going to be interesting to see where he ends up going with this. Whereas Classic Metal has a very safe base behind his own, into the southwest of his expansion, and then has a lot of options to choose from to go after that.
Alright, the 7 farm, 1 squirrel warren here coming out for Classic Metal. Getting his units out as quickly as he can onto the board right now, though Valenti not really that far behind with his own squirrel warren here. Now, do you think there's a possibility for Valenti to consider like a roundabout attack? Just to go around this entire left side of the map?
It's a possibility. It's a little risky, because
He's thinking about it because he's taking that expansion right there. As I was talking about it.
That was good. He has to come up with something to secure his economy in this game, I think, because he doesn't have a safe expansion close by. So he goes for the unexpected mill. It's on the high ground, so unless Classic Metal runs up there, he won't really scout it. And he probably won't expect it either. So after taking the artillery out of Dead Bones' book, now he is taking the hidden base out of Dead Bones' book.
Alright, both sides still shoring up on their army value right now. Classic Metal popping down 5 warrens, Valenti with his 4 warrens.
Yep, Valenti opted to take a farm on that hidden expansion instead of a 5th Squirrel Warren, which is probably a good idea. If you have a hidden base like that, I think it's a good idea to get it saturated sooner rather than later, just in case your opponent does scout it. And because now you can obviously burrow to a base, you don't necessarily need to walk all the way over there, and it's not that easy for your opponent to catch you out as you go and put down a mill on your secret expansion.
And you know, it looks like Classic Metal is going to be shoring up this right side of the map here. He's already putting down a sniper balloon up on the high ground there. as well as plopping down some more Warrens here on the low ground in that corner there. So he is thinking about going
really
this
nice
right.
position. It's a really nice position from Classic Metal. It secures him 3 bases pretty much. Well, 2 expansions plus his main base. He can put more balloons on the high ground if he wants to, but 1 is generally enough to slow down the attack.
All right, and here we go. Bluntly now keeping up his squirrel count. He's actually has more squirrel Warrens at Classic Metal. Classic Metal instead opting to go for Ferret. Now he's gonna be putting down a mole.
Interesting to see.
Mole.
We'll see what that does. Classic Metal obviously did opt for the balloon, so Valently has a bit more army value. But keep in mind that Valently's expansion has been farming for quite a while, whereas Classic Metal's mill only just finishes up. So Valently is ahead in economy, and he's going to be for a while.
Alright, it looks like both sides still content with farming their own sides right now. Classic Metal popping down some farms on his expansion there. Meanwhile, Valently will now be getting his Snake Warren out there, and he's going to be grabbing a third expansion, the one closer to his base. Here, but it looks like his first expansion there, nicely all farmed out without any hint of Classic Metal knowing that it's there.
Yeah, that's
instead,
ends
Classic
up
Metal
paying out.
Instead, Classic Metal is just going to shore up this right side completely. He's going to be putting a barbed wire and another sniper balloon up on the right high ground there. He's definitely expecting an attack here.
This gives him a very nice line of defense on this entire, on these 3 bases. He has scouted the base to the southwest of his expansion, and now he spots Valently's, what he may think is his first expansion. Though, at some point he may realize that there's something up.
He does have that barbed wire there on his left side of his first base. So just in case someone decides to attack from that angle, he could probably be prepared for it.
It's a bit of an early warning, but it might still be too late if units are already over there.
And now Valently is just playing this massive farming game under Classic Metal's nose right now. What's going to be the breaking point for Valently? What does he need?
Valently
yeah, he's going to go for that really high ground. Go right next to the base.
Classic Metal doesn't know about it.
And this is really bad. If he could put down any structures up here, and if he could anything up here,
because Classic Metal
now has his entire army going on the right side of the map. Here we go. We're going to have our first engagement of this match here. As nothing much really happens. Both sides just trying to feel each other out, poking at each other with their squirrel army. But he does loop around. He sees where the sniper balloon is going to. He's going to target it with all his squirrels, see how much damage he's able to do. He is sitting in the middle of the barbed wire, though. His snake has to be a little bit careful, but he's going to lose the snake in the barbed wire there. Valently loses a good number of units there on the high ground. He does have some lizard warrens out right now, so he's going to bring them quickly to the front line to defend. But Classic Metal is still slowly pushing up. And right
Very
now,
long engagement right now.
and the Ferret shots are flying from both sides. Some more reinforcements though coming from Valently. They are close to his base, so his reinforcements are coming up pretty fast. But Classic Metal has not moved really too far from his position. He's pretty confident about his visioning right now. He's getting his Ferret to just pour down pain onto that poor snake there. Valently is going to retreat back behind his Warrens, and it looks like... I mean, who won that engagement?
Well, Valently has more farms for this entire thing, so I don't think it hurts him particularly, but he took the fight.
Metal. He's trying to go for this roundabout, but he grabs his expansion here on the bottom to his left. He sees this expansion. He sees it now. He's going to try to kill it as fast as he can. Valently, in the meantime, has his own army coming towards the middle of the map, straight towards Classic Metal's base.
This is not a good position for Valently. His units are completely spread out.
And right now, we're going to have a massive battle here down in the gulch right now. So Valently's units, the squirrels on the low ground, are all almost completely taken out, but he still has a lot of good units on the high ground. In the meantime, his lizards are taking out some Warrens up there as well on the bottom.
Classic Metal's ferrets just refuse to die. Even though he doesn't have any pigeons, those ferrets, they live. They're a hardy bunch. The fact that Classic Metal doesn't have pigeons has cost him quite something, because if he had flying vision, he would have spotted the base to the south that Valently has a lot earlier.
Bluntly's not letting this up, though. He's going to be pushing on a little bit forward at a time with his army. Although, doesn't really seem to know what to do quite yet. He is going to be behind in terms of number of farms now, with that expansion in the bottom being destroyed.
I don't know if I mentioned it, but in the first really long engagement we saw, Volentny took the fight away from his own sniper balloon, so it was completely useless. Whereas, well, both armies did take the fight away from their own sniper balloon, but in Volently's case, it was Classic Metal who was aggressive, so he could have just backed off a little bit more.
Alright, Volently eyeing this expansion here, but Classic Metal will have none of it. He's going to park his 4 ferrets here.
Yeah, this
on the high
expansion
ground.
is impossible to take for Volentny at this point. There's a sniper balloon watching its every move. So he's doing probably the right thing and putting farms on his sneaky base behind enemy lines. Classic Metal does know that base exists, so he will probably try and expand there at some point.
Volently also sold his Snake Wardens, opting for some more ferrets right now.
Ooh, well, I guess there's only one balloon on the field right now, but it's still in a really good position and it's going to stay relevant for a long time. So I don't know if selling the snakes is the right idea here. Especially since Classic Metal doesn't actually have pigeons for once. A lot of players will opt around pigeons. Yeah, a few pot shots, taking out a squirrel here or there, but nothing major.
Alright, and now we're about almost 10 minutes into this game here. Volently doing a nice job of farming this expansion here on the bottom without Classic Metal even knowing it's there. And because Classic Metal took that expansion in the gulch there to the far left, he probably won't even think about taking this high ground quite yet.
Volently trying to secure this HQ with a balloon, which may trick Classic Metal into thinking that Volently, he's desperate to have this base, even though he has a very nice base all the way to the south.
Now his ferret numbers are actually outnumbering Classic Metal, but Classic Metal will have his Fox coming out pretty soon. Only about 30 seconds left until it's finished being done.
Fox could be huge here, although there are balloons out for Volently already. I would like if he sold the one next to his western expansion, because it's not relevant at this point in the game, and he can use, even though he has 14 farms, both players can use all the food they have. And he's going to try and secure his base again.
In the meantime, Classic Metal is going to pop some barbed wire here up on his high hill, but one of them gets taken out. He sells the other. Looks like we're going to have a full-on engagement here as Volently is now trying to make his way, back down the elevation. It seems going to pull his army out. He's going to stop the expansion building. And it seems like he's trying to bait Classic Metal into doing something, but I'm not really sure what.
Volently built the sniper balloon at his expansion, which almost takes out the Fox, but doesn't quite. So Classic Metal does know that there's something up now.
All right, here he goes. He's going to bring his army up and around onto this expansion, and he sees it. I'm like, what in the hell did this get here? He's going to pour his squirrel army into this expansion. Meanwhile, Volently is now pushing onto the ferret and foxes that Classic Metal had waiting behind back at base. Half the ferrets are gone right now. The ward is gone. Now Volently has a ferret advantage on his side. All the ferrets are gone from the Classic Metal. He has his fox at the ready though. His sniper balloon also taking out ferrets. One ferret left on Volently's army.
Ferrets. Volently went in, taking out most of Classic Metal's ferrets, which was a good thing, but his squirrel screen just died so fast, and now we go to a strange stage in the game where Volently has 3 farms, Classic Metal is on 1. He does have a base where he can potentially get farms.
Oh, he's trying to poke at these farms here on the side. He's going to force Volently to starvation.
Very
and
nice.
there we go.
The Fox has to be really careful though.
The starvation counter is now on for Volently now. 60 seconds. He has to build a farm somewhere. I mean, he might as well just rebuild.
Yes, he can rebuild those, which is probably what he needs to do.
Oh no, his units, though, they're taking the farm away from him that he needs. The squirrels are still in production. He needs to get the farm built. There we go. He finally does get one going for now. Hopefully he'll be up before the starvation timer ticks down. But Classic Metal is also on a timer of his own. He has no money. He cannot sell his units for fear of Volently just taking over.
But Classic Metal, Volently is going to take out this base, which is a really good thing for him. Classic Metal does have the option of getting that base secured so early in the game, which you probably will do. And I think, you hold my fort. Don't know what Volently is going to do here. Don't know if he wants to push forward here.
He is going to park his units outside right here. Right into the barbed wire.
Oh god! That is...
Making his way through the barbed wire. Can he do anything with it? But his units are low on health right now. His pinchers are trying to do the best they can, but Valenti just loses all his army to that one single tile of barbed wire.
And that is why you use barbed wire when everyone uses squirrels. It did 14 damage to a single ferret. It did about 600 damage to all the squirrels, and because it's barbed wire, it didn't die. And Classic Metal has an easy base to take. He's in a good position. He's won all of the last fights. So I think he's feeling really comfortable, and it's up to Valenti to make the play and somehow bring this game back.
Right now, Classic Metal is in the starvation timer. He needs to go find a base to capture. Time to sell a Warren off. 140 food in his pocket right now. He's going to be going, but it looks like Valenti taking this mill down here to the left. That used to be Classic Metal. Meanwhile, Classic Metal is going to be taking tit for tat as he takes the mill on the high ground next to his base.
This is a clowny game. We need to keep an eye on the vision radius of both players now to figure out what they can see, and if they can figure out where each other's bases are. Classic Metal is going to be really careful about starving. He's probably going to make it, but this is going to be close.
Drums are beating for Classic Metal. Can he get this farm up in time? There we go. He's going to pop 2 farms.
So, yeah. And now he will probably catch on to Valenti building. He hasn't found it yet. I imagine he'll find it sooner rather than later.
Doesn't look like he's thinking about that area, though. He's going to actually... Oh,
Here comes
he is going to bring
Fox.
his units out.
Yeah.
His units are there. They're going to see this expansion. Fox sees it. He needs to get rid of these farms right now. The Fox is going to do no good against the expansion. Get your Fox moving. There we go. That is a dead farm. Ooh.
Yep, very nicely played.
There we go. Dead farm again. Now Valenti back on a starvation timer. And now he has no free expansions for him to take.
Yeah, and he's going to be forced to sell another one of his warrens to get a farm up. So it's going to be really tricky for him. He does sell
Come
that
down
farm.
here. He's trying to come down here, see what he can do.
He had a farm queued, so he was forced to sell it first. No,
Oh, does he have time?
probably has time to get his farm up, but yeah, he's going to rebuild on his western base probably. But because Classic Metal just secures this central high ground on the map, he dictates where Valenti can go and what he can do, and he has a Fox to just slowly starve out his opponent. This is probably... I mean, it might take a while, but I think Classic Metal is pretty confident about his abilities or his chances at winning this game.
This war of attrition here right now between both players. Valenti just stubbornly holding on to these dead farms. He still has a pretty okay army. He has a good number of sniper
He
bullets
has
to
a
defend.
lot less than Classic Metal, and Classic Metal has tier 3. He has
yeah,
those
definitely.
3 sniper balloons. I think he should probably sell 2 of them to free up that 240 food and then try and do something with it, but it's going to be really tricky.
Now Classic Metal has a healthy 4 farms to his name, healthy being a relative term here right now.
Yeah, but he's free to just expand. There's no way Valenti can push into this base. He only has squirrels, and there's barbed wire in front of it. We saw how ridiculously effective that barbed wire was before.
He unfortunately sold his lizards. He either lost the lizards or sold them a long time ago.
He was forced to sell them.
Yeah, and now Classic Metal taking out this expansion, just making sure covers all his bases. In the meantime, Valenti is going to swing his units into that middle area. I'm curious what he's going to be doing with those units.
They're probably just going to die one by one because there's a
Oh, the
fox.
Fox is here. 1 down, 2 down. We
It's
get
2
third.
kills. That's
Nope,
a good
no
win.
third. He does back off. You know, but every unit is important for Valenti at this point right now.
This is slow and painful, but Valenti, he's hanging in there. It looks like he wants to build a balloon to secure this area, but he's not selling his other balloons to free up that food, so it's going to take another 5 seconds at this point before he can even get that food.
What chances does Valenti have of actually turning this around at this point? His army value has just dropped significantly since last time was up.
I would say
And-
0. I
Zero?
would say 0, honestly. Yes.
Oh boy.
But he's hanging in there. Classic Metal moving in, going to take out this forward balloon if he can. Easily
Yes.
done.
Water though, he does manage to take it out. Let's see how this engagement is going to be going for Valenti.
He had the highest squirrel numbers. This is
Well,
fairly
he
easy.
tried, but he loses every single squirrel. He only has balloons up to defend himself now. He is on starvation timer as well. Yes, some scrolls coming back for him. Still loyal to Valently. Even in
Can
the
build
face of
that
starvation.
last farm.
Oh, he's just stretching this out for as long as he can, trying to find any hope here. But
He's
Classic
trying.
Classic Metal, he finds that final farm.
He knows it's there, but
The last lifeline that Valently has.
Valently is on 7 squirrels and 2 balloons, whereas Classic Metal has completely reinforced his army. He still has 5 farms going. He could still take that base if he wants to, so it looks like
Classic
he's
Metal wants to end
considering
this
moving
right
in
now.
for the kill. Yeah, but he's going to play it safe, which is really smart.
Ferrets take out 2. They take out 2 more. Alright, he does move the final few out of the way, but some of the squirrels pathing around the trees. Well, they still make it away to
Okay,
Valently.
now he's moving in his army. Take out the balloon, take out the warrants. Valently moving his 3 valiant squirrels straight into barbed wire, most likely. We'll see how this goes.
No. Oh no.
This Classic Metal is cleaning out the ways. Oh, there's barbed wire. Here they go. Getting shredded. And he will take out a farm. Valently takes out 1 farm.
Oh no, one scroll is really close to death right now, standing a little bit too long there. There he goes, he's trying to do it, but no, that's it. Classic Metal takes out the last expansion, that's going to be game.
Barbed wire, man. In the right places. That was painful.
I mean, there was a point where Valently felt like he was going to win. He had
He was in a
farm
great spot that game.
going for him, but what went wrong in there?
Maybe it was a lack of tier 3. That he didn't have a unit to punch through. Or maybe he could consider more lizards against the barbed wire. I don't know. We'll talk about the game after the series is over, I suppose.
All right, well, let's get ready to go. Are we ready for game number 3, Captain Fog?
We are indeed. Game number 3 of Classic Metal versus Valently will start momentarily. We have 2 points for Classic Metal, which means that if Classic Metal manages to win the next fight, he will advance to the semifinals, beating out Valently. Valently will be forced to go back among us normal people as a non-competitor anymore. Are you guys ready to go ahead and start?
Let's do this.
Yes.
All right, game 3 of Classic Metal versus Valently is going to start in 3, 2, 1. Poll has been reset, so go ahead and vote on who you think is going to win game 3. Is it going to be vote blue or vote yellow? But right now I'm going to pass it back over to our casting team of Best Teammaker and LeConte.
All right, LeConte. We're in game number 3 right now. Valently has decided to bring out some tier 3s for himself. He has the wolf, and he has the moles on his side as well.
Decides to ditch the lizard for the mole. Other than that, Classic Metal going for the exact same build, so now Valently does have a way to deal with barbed wire again. He did have lizards, but now he has a mole. Either one can work. The mole does have bonus damage against structures, so takes out the barbed wire fast if it can get to it. Now,
Is this a
Valently
map where
did
you
opt- Go ahead.
I was just going to ask you, is this the kind of map where you could use barbed wire effectively?
I think Classic Metal can find a way. He's proven that he's very confident, or very good with his barbed wire placement, and yeah, he has the one expansion just to the north of his main base, and he can close off that entire open space with 2 or 3 units of barbed wire, which is only 60 food if you place with 3. So
I'm just slightly worried about the middle ground area. It's just so open. There's no outcroppings blocked the way. There are no trees blocking the way.
I would say the map sort of favors Valently because of the layouts of the high ground in the middle. So if he can secure that, both players do have balloons, so it could be a race to see who secures the middle high ground and then the bases close to it. But it's going to be pretty tricky to see. Well, we'll just have to see how the players end up using the map.
All right, just a bit of a report on both sides right now. Both of them going to 8 farms. They have their 3 squirrel warrens at the ready. Classic Metal putting down a 4th one just now.
Yeah, pretty standard play. Valently may consider ferrets, or he's saving up some food now. Or is he going to go for a balloon? It's hard to say. I do like that it's putting the warrens forwards to have faster access to the high grounds. Classic Metal's doing the same, placing forward warrens. So they both take... So they both go for the aggressive warren placement because they realize that this middle position is so important to secure.
All right, both sides eyeing this middle ground now, but it looks like Valently will have his units reach it first. He's actually take that middle expansion for himself.
If he can get this up and get some balloons up, this could be really good for him. Classic Metal does not have flying vision.
He's gonna bring out the mole there. He has a mole waiting in the wings. In the meantime, Classic Metal trying to engage with his squirrels a little bit, but high ground for Valently, not really easy to fight into. Here we go, as the engagement begins once again, Squirrel versus Squirrel Army. Who's going to be able to win this one out? The mole trying to hit that expansion. He does get taken out, but Valently loses almost his entire army, and now he's going to be forced to watch that mill die.
Fortunately, Valently opted to go for ferrets just as he was expanding, which only just came out, so he didn't have them in that fight.
Alright, here we go. Classic Metal, though, still has a lot of squirrels on his side. 14 squirrels strong versus 4 and 1 ferret. And he's going to lose 1 Warren. He's going to lose a 2nd Warren. He's going to lose some more squirrels. Classic Metal's just streaming his way through right now.
That was some snowball from Classic Metal. He wins the one fight and then just has the squirrel numbers to completely punch through, taking out the ferrets. The second one is only just about to finish, but the damage has been done, I feel.
3 farms sticking out. He's not going to call the GG quite yet. He's still holding on to whatever little he has right now, trying to push away Classic Metal, but that is a huge win for Classic Metal, taking out both the expansion and 3 farms and a ton of warrens.
Valently sells his ferrets and desperately adds in more squirrels, but Classic Metal still has the higher numbers, and has way more food as well.
Alright, Classic Metal going in for round number 2. Let's see what Valently can do to pull this off. He doesn't have that many squirrels, only 6 to his name. Let's see what he can do with them, but they're dropping really fast right now. Few squirrels coming up to provide some backup here, but Classic Metal just steamrolling his way through right now, and that's going to be a very quick game number 3. Classic Metal will be moving on to the semifinals to face off against Dead Bones.
That was quite the contrast against the previous game, but Classic Metal proving that he is a very capable player, taking the series pretty up.
Alright, now we take this back to our panel, gentlemen here. Guys, what did you think of that entire series?
Alright, so that series, Valently made a ton of mistakes. Also with this most recent game, Game 3, he built that forward expansion, but then he tried to defend it when Classic Metal tried to pressure it with his squirrels by bringing his squirrels in front, and where he could have fallen back and let the mill tank for his squirrels and have that advantage in that fight. But instead, he brings his squirrels forward, and while they're running forward to try to defend, they're taking some free shots. And so that was what led to Classic Metal winning that fight so heavily, in addition to Classic Metal having invested more in squirrels and Valently investing in ferrets, which allowed Classic Metal to just push forward and end the game right there. And in Game 1, Valently just threw his armies into a defended position again and again. He had built those early ferrets, which was, I think, was probably a good move, but he didn't build pigeons early, which meant that he couldn't use his ferrets well, and he had to run his commander up onto the high ground for his units to be able to attack Classic Metal's squirrels, which meant that Classic Metal's squirrels could just be taking free shots up until Valently got his commander to the high ground, and that put him in a big advantage. But the most interesting game of the series was definitely Game 2. But Valently's mistakes in that game was that he did some really good stuff with those sneaky expansions, getting a huge eco lead by Classic Metal not scouting them. But when Classic Metal did find them, he would bring his army over and destroy it. And since it was a large map, Valently could have instead moved his army into Classic Metal's base and just trade the expansions, but since he had an eco lead, it would have been better for him. And Valently was just really slow to react both times that Classic Metal took out one of his sneaky expansions, because he usually had his army just sitting far back in his base instead of in a more forward position where he could react quicker, and he would try to come and contest Classic Metal, but Classic Metal had already taken down the base by the time Valently's army got there, and then Valently's army would lose the fight because they were running in and taking free shots while doing so.
Yeah, I want to latch onto that and say that in the second game, I think Valently made 2 big mistakes, which was 1, building the sniper balloon on the hidden base in the south, because that's the only reason Classic Metal found out about it, is because he got shot by a sniper balloon inside his own base. which doesn't really happen, and then running his entire army into that single tile of barbed wire, which we've seen. I don't know if you remember, but there was a highlight stream of Classic Metal versus Dead Bones, where the same barbed wire placement by Classic Metal completely obliterated the Squirrel army, much like what it did in Game 2 against Valente. So running into barbed wire when you have no way of destroying it can really, really screw up your entire engagement.
That was something that Volley tended to do a lot, was committing too hard into defenses when he didn't really have to. The last thing I wanted to point out that Bluntly did was his sniper balloon placement. He just placed a lot of sniper balloons really far back, and they really didn't make up for their cost, because he spent, I think he built a total of 4 or 5 sniper balloons, and they probably only got that many shots because they just were never in the areas that fights were taking place.
The Game 2, they had 2 sniper balloons that between the 2 of them maybe got off 4 shots for the entire game, so those weren't really worth it.
All right, well, with that, it's time for us to take a quick break. We're going to take 10 minutes here to stretch. You guys can get up, get a drink, go to the bathroom, and we'll be back with Lowell Steamroller versus Master Stealth and Lev versus LeConte. In the meantime, we have a poll for you. You can decide which Tooth and Tail unit you think is the worst in the game. Take that as you will. But we'll be back in 10 minutes with the rest of the September Showdown Quarterfinals stream. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back from our halftime break for the Clash of Comrades September Showdown Quarterfinals stream. We are ready to bring you the second half of the games here today. Let's jump back into those standings. We've seen Deadbones 3-0 Bagel Denizen in our first match, and Classic Metal 3-0 Valantly in our second match. We'll see if LOL Steamroller can repeat the same thing with Master Stealth for some nice, even symmetry. Let's talk a little bit about LOL Steamroller as a player. Bestie, have you seen LOL Steamroller play much, and what do you think about his general strategies?
His strategy is to just research the hell out of his opponents and figure out a counterplay to them. That's what he does to every single opponent he plays. And I think the only time where it didn't work was when his first match was against Master Stealth, and he had no idea to prepare for that base contain. And now we're going to have a rematch of that very same here. Same thing here, LOL Steamroller versus Master Stealth. So this is going to be pretty interesting indeed, because LOL Steamroller is just really flexible, I feel, basically, is how you can explain his playstyle.
I remember we highlighted a game of his versus, I think it was Two Flower, where he read a map that wasn't really favorable for him, but he did read the map and figured out exactly what he wanted to do, and that did surprise me because he hasn't been playing that long. I didn't know how extensively he researched his opponents, but he did strike me as a good player, like someone who knows what he's doing and how the game is played on a more strategic level, so I look forward to these games.
All right, well, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into these games here. That's going to be LOL Steamroller versus Master Stealth. Game 1. Are you guys ready to go ahead and start this?
Yes.
Do it.
All right, we're going to start this in 3, 2, 1. Pass off our talking to our lovely casting team of Best, Teammaker, and Lacante. Take it away.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to some more Tooth and Tail quarterfinals action for September Showdown. We have LOL Steamroller here with triple tier 1s, going with some Ferrets and Fox, while Master Stealth in the green, going with Moles and Mines.
Moles, Mines, Ferrets, no tier 3. This is going to be a Master Stealth game.
All right, and one more thing. He also has the machine gun nest. We have not seen the machine gun nest in play a lot during this tournament.
Yeah, the machine gun nest is really useful against early rush play, and that really hasn't been that strong or hasn't been used that much ever since people... Oh, Master Stealth going for double one more.
Oh my god.
And a mine to soak the damage? No, he's building a mine for some reason.
He's building moles here, right in front of the base right now. The lizard is here to try to counter it, but the lizard dies, unfortunately. But
moles have a hard time.
What are you doing, Master Stealth? The mole rush isn't going to work in this case. Oh, he just loses so much.
Alright, so I lost my train of thought. I was talking about machine gun nest. It's really good against early rush play. So Master is going to build one now because he doesn't have any units out, and LOL Steamroller has 2 Lizard Warrens, so this will deter most forms of attack from this angle, but LOL Steamroller has the pick of the litter when he wants to decide which angle to attack from, and he has lizards, so he has a really easy time getting there. Both players' economy is delayed quite a bit because of those mole antics, which put Master Stealth behind quite significantly, and he's just saving up food, not really buying farms. We'll see what actually happens.
He's just gonna fortify his area with some more machine gun nests. He's putting another machine gun nest on the other side on high ground. See if he can.
It is gonna finish just in time. The mine gets taken out.
Ooh, he's gonna have to bring the lizards back. They're taking too much damage here, and that one stray lizard does get away though.
He could have taken out the machine gun nests, and then the way to Master Stealth's base would be open. But he decides to back off. LOL Steamroller's in a good position. He has an army. Master Stealth has no army, and LOL Steamroller's ahead in economy. So we'll see how this game develops.
And he's building a lot into structures right now. Putting down 3 mines already, 2 machine gun nests at his command. I don't know what Master Stealth is trying to go for this game, because, I mean, what do you think about structure-based kind of games?
I've tried it. Unfortunately, it can work. That's a good thing. Now, the bad thing is it's very map-dependent, and Tooth and Tail has random maps. Now, this map is really good for structure play for Master Stealth. I wanted to talk about this, but of course, things have been happening, so I couldn't. To the south of his base, he has 3 expansions right next to each other that are really hard to attack for LOL Steamroller. So if Master can get his defenses up, then he has a chance.
I don't know, looks like he's going to go for it again. The mine blows, but doesn't really do too much. He does take out that first machine gun nest, and he's going to be getting away with minimal losses.
Slightly favorable trade for Lost Steamroller. Master Stealth just, I think, bluffing with his no unit strategy right now. Now, if he wants this to work, he needs to actually get bases and get his economy going.
Oh, here it comes. He's swinging around the Lizard army around to the backside. Lost Steamroller has found the
Very
weakness
nice.
in Master Stealth's army there, and he's just going to go for the pigs right now. The pigs, one pig is dead, two are dead. He's going to be retreating at this point right now.
Yeah, that's very nice from Lost Steamroller. Like I mentioned before, he has so many angles to attack from, and now he has ferrets, so these machine gun nests aren't going to be staying alive for very long. It's also another reason they haven't been that popular lately, because everyone picks ferrets. So
Right, he sells out the machine gun nests, realizes that he doesn't want to lose too much from that. The
but he
ferrets
still
are
has
coming
no
to
units. He still has no units. He's behind in economy right now. His opponent is expanding, but he can't attack it because he has no units. And oh well, actually,
Is he
has
going for
malls.
another mole play? Are you kidding me? He's going to go for some more moles on the first expansion here right now. 3 moles at the ready. And Lost Steamroller sees this happening. He's going to bring his units back. And Master Stealth just sells everything and runs off. So,
He has 450 food.
okay.
He has
could
to
go for
expand and
more
get
attack. No, he's
buildings.
going to expand instead.
No, Lost Steamroller has opted for lizards, which is really good against this kind of cheeky play from Master Stealth.
Master Stealth's just stuck in this corner right now. He can't burrow out. He's going to do his best to run away. Oh boy. How much time was wasted for Master Stealth, do you think? Trying to pull. Oh, it's at 5 moles on the ground now for Master Stealth. We'll see what we
Lost Steamroller has lizards, so he's back already.
Here we go.
Now his moles going
He's trying-
through the water.
He's trying to chase after the Fox Warren. Can he get? Oh, he's trying to get this expansion. Can he do it in time? That's Lost Steamroller chasing with his lizards. He's gonna circle around the expansion, but that's not gonna be enough as the entire mole army is defeated, and Master Stealth again has no army to defend himself. As Lost Steamroller will now be having a Fox in about 40 seconds.
Yeah, so now he has a fox to run around together with his lizards, so a very fast army to respond to any kinds of shenanigans by Master Stealth. Question is, what does he go for next on Master's side? He still hasn't built any farms. He has no units.
He's just trying to find someone to poke with moles. Apparently, he's in the top. He's in the right corner. There you go. In the right corner right now. He's going to put down some mines there for some reason. Doesn't really matter. Lost Steamroller just pounding on this base here. Can he do anything about it? Not really. The mine goes off. But
And
no.
Lost Steamroller realizes he takes out all the farms and then heads back
Oh.
just in time to
Starvation.
deal with the mole push.
He pulls his moles up on the high ground for what reason? There's nowhere for him to go up here. He's just stuck on the high ground. And the fox is just taking away at him. Master Stealth is a good second in starvation mode.
Throws in the towel.
What did I just watch?
Master Stealth knows how to put on a show at the very least. That was an interesting game. Let's see if he's going to reveal his true potential.
We're talking about like how we're gonna do analysis for newcomers to the game. I don't know how you can analyze that game. What?
We
Anyway.
can probably take away that building no units is not a very good strategy.
Yeah, there we go. Don't do that. Anyways, how are we ready for game number 2, Mr. Captain Fog?
We are 07 Lol Steamroller Master South is game 2. Are you guys ready to go?
Let's go.
Yes.
All right, we've reset that polls. Go ahead and vote for who you think's gonna win game 2 here. We're gonna start this in 3, 2, 1. We're gonna pass this back off to our casting team of Bestie Maker and LeConte.
All right, welcome back to game number 2 of what is potentially going to be a very interesting series to watch. Right now, Master Stealth now bringing out the Badger for his side. Still with triple structures, though.
So
And
Master
moles
Stealth's
and
army
pigeons.
is
What?
Mole, Pigeon, and Badger. Now, I do like
What?
the switch up. Question is, this might be a Badger rush, knowing Master Stealth. Full Steamroller going for the 5 farm lizard, knowing that Master probably isn't going to build any units. Master does scout it.
Master is
Builds
going to
a
really
mine
contain.
right
He has this expansion here right in front of Full Steamroller's area, but I don't think this is going to work like last time.
It might. Now, he does have mines on that lizard warren. One mine gets taken out. The other one detonates onto the Warren.
Kills a lizard and
Kills a lizard.
Okay.
Master Self is going to try and get up a sniper balloon to contain little steamroller here. There is a lizard on the field. Which runs into the mine!
Oh no! Oh, that mine. Okay, here we go.
The balloon looks like it will go up.
He's going to be building another
So the
mine.
balloon is up.
Taken out. Okay, this is... I think Lil Steamroller's having bad flashbacks now.
He does have ferrets, so he can at least deny the machine gun nests. But he is more or less contained. He does have an expansion option. The commanders are having a little chat right now, just discussing what they want to do next.
As this is going on right now, what we were talking about Badger before. Why don't we really see Badger a lot in this meta?
It's like tier 3 Squirrel and tier 1 Squirrels are good enough, I think, in this current patch. It's hard to say though. Badger is a good unit, but all it does is add more damage to your composition. I think it's stronger if you have, like, I don't know, if you go with, like, lizards and pigeons. But, Lol Steel Roller is going to run into Master Self's base.
He's bringing his lizards around the corner. He's going to go after the farmers right now, taking out 1 pig, 2 pig, make that 3 pigs right now. Is he going to go for a 4th? That is all of Master Stealth's food right now. And this is game.
Well, we don't know. Master Stealth has 4 moles in Lol Steamroller's base right now. The lizards are going to make their way back, but they have to skirt their way around the defenses.
I don't think it's going to happen. Lol Steamroller still has an expansion on the left side. He's going to come back, try to kill off the moles.
Clutchiest base race ever. A few more hits for Master Stealth.
Nope, not going to happen. Not going to happen.
He needs to build a farm. Alright.
Yep, he has a farm plop down his only remaining expansion in the middle of the map here. Meanwhile, Lol Steamroller is sitting on 4 farms. He has 200 food in the bank. He has 2 warrens of squirrels and lizards each.
Yeah, and Lol Steamroller does get the 1 base that he has easy access to, as I wanted to point out earlier. So he's in a really good position right now. Master Stealth is going to take a long time to get any food up, or any economy up really. It's going to take 40 seconds for that 1 farm to allow Master Stealth to build another farm. Does snipe out Lol Steamroller's commander there.
Not that he can do anything with it. He only has a sniper balloon to his name.
It's a very well-placed sniper balloon.
It is, but I mean, Lol Steamroller just go around like he did last time with his lizards and just ignore this area, ignore the middle of the map completely. All right. I mean, can Master Stealth even do anything here other than wait?
No, he has to wait, and he opts for a mine instead of getting another farm. And here comes Lol Steamroller's army rushing into the balloon,
all the mine pops
easily
up, but
taking
doesn't
it out.
kill. It takes out 1 lizard, I think. But you know, it's nothing. He has nothing. He has nothing, Jim. He has nothing.
Master Stealth's last mill is going to go down, and that's 2 games to 0 for Lol Steamroller. This is interesting. Let's see if Master Stealth can pull it off. Game 3.
What's?
All right, score is now 2-0. If Lol Steamroller can win the next game, he will move on to the semifinals. And Master Stealth, unfortunately, as entertaining as he is to watch, will not make it into the semifinals. We're gonna go ahead and reset this poll here. So vote for who you think is going to win this next match here. We're gonna go into number 8, which is gonna be Lol Steamroller Master Stealth Game 3. You guys ready to go?
Yes, let's go.
Let's do it.
All right, we're going to start this in 3, 2, 1.
All right. We've had some time to breathe now as we're back for game number 3 between Master Stealth and Lol Steamroller. As Master Stealth, now no more moles from his side. He's going to bring back squirrels to his party.
Oh, Master Stealth going for squirrels. He's desperate to win this game, it seems.
No moles, so he's not going to go for that mole rush either, so...
I'm going to predict 2 squirrel pigeon into badger from Master Stealth.
Oh, looks like Lol Steamroller though has other plans in mind. He's going to be taking that Ford expansion right outside Master Stealth's base on the
Master
bridge.
Stealth, he's seen it, but he's not building any warrants yet.
What's going on here? Lol Steamroller, he has it on here.
Master Stealth building
He's
machine
gonna
gun.
also
The
try
Lol
to put
Steamroller
the-
also has machine gun nests.
Master Stealth's gonna get his up first, though. That's one machine gun that's at the ready, shooting
Oh,
down.
that's gonna be a
this
dead mill
area.
very soon.
That's gonna be a dead Bellified. He's gonna move out of the way. The machine gun nests are out of range. I think he's by one tile.
And Lol Steamroller's Warren is very exposed now. Both players on 5 farms. Master Stealth does have a lot of food. Could probably consider. Oh, there it is. There's
Oh,
the
the
badger.
badger rush. Here it is. He got
But
some
there is.
badgers,
Oh,
people.
the single squirrel won't. Oh, actually, no. These squirrels have 10 HP. It might actually take out the pig. Nope,
No pig dead.
not
He's
quite.
He's slowly gonna do it. He's gonna work at it. He takes out that machine gun nest before it's built. There's another
Oh,
machine gun
this
nest at the
pig.
ready.
This pig doesn't live. That's
machine-
unfortunate for Master Stealth.
That machine gun nest is built, but Master still has that badger waiting in the wings. That Warren
Here
is
comes.
very
He does
close.
have the 120 food. So here comes the badger. No! He's built a farm. Okay, now he sells it to get the badger out.
Here it comes. He's gonna bring his squirrels around though, see if he can attack from the bottom of this.
Ah, but the very nicely placed machine gun nest from Master Stealth.
So a bit of a mistake coming from Lol Steamroller then it looks like.
The badger is on the way. It's almost halfway done. Lol Steamroller does have a lot of food. Decides to build some warrens back at base. It's probably a good idea. And he did sell his forward position.
Okay, so what happens here now? Master Stealth is gonna get the badger out really early on.
Yeah, he's going for badger pigeon, so the badger does have extra HP, and then he has to just go as fast as he can once he has the badger out, and hope it just face rolls Lol Steamroller's base. The badger is out, so let's see if Master Stealth does anything with it. I believe.
I do wonder, he doesn't even know that the badger's there. He hasn't been able to scout out that
Oh, no.
area at all
He
whatsoever.
has no idea what's coming.
He does have a machine gun nest in the front to defend, and he does have a retinue of
that's not
lizards.
going to last. Oh, he just sold it. He just sold it, and now he spots that there's in fact a badger on the field.
Alright, here it comes. Can this lizard army of 9 lizards strong do anything against this badger being backed by pigeons?
Master Stealth.
Find the
Oh,
badger on the high ground.
yeah.
He's gonna go in. Is he gonna get?
yeah,
he's
he's
making his
warming
way
up
in. There
all
he
the
goes.
pigs. Badger does have fire on the move, so as long as Master Stealth keeps moving, he can take out this entire army. No!
Oh, the badger's
Got
gone.
taken out first.
Too many lizards for him to fight.
And he
he's
doesn't
gonna
have
run.
the food to rebuild it. Oh, he opted for the mill without filling out his farms first. So he does have 60 food. That's kind of wasted, unfortunately.
And now, Lol Steamroller has the farm advantage and the food advantage on this side. He's going to be taking the expansion to the left there. There's a good army of lizards to back him up. He's getting some squirrels up as well here. In the meantime, Master Stealth, he's building up some more farms. He's not even thinking about trying to get that badger up yet.
Finally, Master Stealth concedes and builds a squirrel warren.
Oh. Yes.
Oh, his badger is out.
Oh, it's out. Okay, there we go. He has the.
I didn't see that it was building another badger.
Okay, I didn't see the timer go already.
But
Okay, he
unfortunately,
does-
Lol Steamroller has a lot more units now and is building a fox.
Alright, here we go. Lol Steamroller just dancing around the high ground here, and Master trying to figure out how he wants to go in and attack. He's gonna cross the river, go in just straight towards the base. But Lol Steamroller is at the ready. He has the lizards to quickly back up this area.
Oh, but those pigeons are right in front. They could be bad. Here comes the badger.
Here comes the badger,
Running back.
charging up the gun. Can he get enough shots in time? He's being surrounded completely by Lol Steamroller's units and it's taken out for a
Oh.
second time.
That's unfortunate. Unfortunate
Alright.
for Master Stealth.
He's gonna wait
Next
up.
badger is on the way, though.
There he
It
goes.
is on the way. But Lord Steamroll's fox is halfway done, so I think once that's out, he can easily kill the badger. Sniping it out. And we'll see how the game plays out.
He just needs to get the badger going. The badger's just not shooting fast enough right now.
No, he's trying, but there's too many units, and he gets overwhelmed by just the amount of tier 1 that Lord Steamroller throws at his badger. And now the fox is out, so now it's Lord Steamroller's time to say, hey,
He's charging
I've got
in. He
two
has the
bringers."
lizards. He has the fox. All the swift units are making their way in right now. Here it comes. The badger is at the ready for Master Stealth. And get out of time. The fox is out in the front though. He's gonna have to pull his fox back just a little bit more. And they're targeting the warren first to make I guess just the targeting thing. He wants to make sure the badger doesn't come back, but the badger's still alive, still healthy right now. Now has some squirrels to defend the badger a little bit, but All right,
Must
one
stop
less
going
swirl.
for a one last huzzah.
All right, here we go. The Badger is dead again.
And Master Stealth. Unfortunate. He switched up his tactics for the last game. It was a nice rush, but may have come just a little bit too late. He did hold against the machine gun rush, or the potential contain from Null Steamroller, but in the end, just wasn't quite enough, and Null Steamroller will advance to the semifinals.
Well, gentlemen of the panel, do you have any words for the 3 games we just saw?
Okay, well, I guess I'll go with explaining what Master was trying to do with his cheese and why it didn't work out each game. So for the first game, Master was trying to do a mole rush augmented with mines, which was a clever addition. So his plan with the mine was to take out the lizards that also was trying to build to respond. And that worked somewhat for a little bit, but he only built 2 moles, which couldn't really get through the 20 HP pig in time. So, and then once that failed, he had invested so much in it that he had no chance of really coming back at that point, which is often the nature of cheese if it fails. Game 2, he had a bit more success. He actually got his contain set up, but because the map was so open, LSR could just move his lizards out around the side and attack Master's base for free, and Master didn't have anything to stop that.
Yeah, unfortunately, Master Stealth was like neglecting his economy in favor of the contain, so he didn't really have the food to accelerate his game after putting down like the first sniper bullet.
Yeah, I did like what Master was doing. He was able to delay LSR getting his lizards up that game by placing mines right in front of the Warren, so that LSR had no chance to get lizards up until Master stopped placing mines there.
Yeah.
Which allowed him to buy really time to get his sniper balloon up, which was a really clever innovation. And I'm just sad that the rest of the game didn't work out, because it was a really cool play by Master. And then the third game, Master did a great job holding out with his turrets against the aggressive expansion of LSR. But the tier 3 rush, while it's fun, it takes a long time to come out. And LSR was able to build up an economic lead during that time. And once Master got his Badger in position, LSR already had 9 lizards out. And it only takes 20 hits from lizards to kill the Badger because it has 60 HP and they have 3 attack. And it takes 6 seconds for it to wind up to its full damage. And so the lizards could just kill the Badger before it had a chance to wind up. Master should have tried to get his Badger wound up on the pigs before the lizards came in, but he was waiting for his pigeons to catch up.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
I think all in all, Null Steamroller going with lizards for the entire series was a really good choice because it allowed him to quickly respond to anything that Master Stealth was trying to pull off.
Definitely. Well, we're going to follow Master Stealth's career into the future for the next tournament in November, but unfortunately, Null Steamroller has gotten the 3-0 over him, so the Master of Cheese will not be moving ahead into the semifinals. Right now, though, we're going to have Lev versus our own LeConte. So, LeConte, we're going to boot you off, although I guess the games are technically already played. But let's talk a little bit about these 2 players here. Of course, LeConte is here, but Lev, the young upstart player, I don't know if he's actually young, but the young in terms of number of tournaments he's been in, definitely the favorite if there is an upset. He's the number 2 seed, I believe, coming into these, 3 seed coming into these finals here. Any thoughts about this match coming up, Best Team Maker?
I'm pretty excited to see. LeConte has always been interesting in terms of his build order, going for tier 2. We're going to see how Lev sort of adapts to it. I mean, Lev has just been shown to be extremely strong in a lot of these events recently. And now he has a chance to prove just how strong he can be. He's beaten Deadbones a few times even. And now his next step is going to have to defeat LeConte, Null Steamroller, on his way to the finals. So let's see what this guy can do.
All right, well, let's go ahead and jump into these games here. It's going to be LeConte versus Lev. Quarterfinal game 1. Hunter, are you ready to start this thing?
I am ready.
All right, well, let's start this in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, here we go. Licante to the southwest of the map in the blue versus his opponent, Lev, to the northeast in yellow. And Lev is taking a fairly interesting build there. He's taken owls. So he's gone for the standard, from what we've seen with a lot of players, with the squirrel pigeon, ferret for tier 2, and then wolf/fox for tier 3. But he's also gone with the owl, which we haven't seen much of at all this tournament. We've seen it like 1 or 2 games, but nothing too major. Whereas Licante going with a very interesting build, going with the pigeon and the chameleon and the snake and the just nothing meta about that at all. It's just completely ridiculous. What do you think, Captain?
Nothing but tier 2s here. I definitely like seeing different strategies. We've seen him actually use chameleons to great effect. When he gets the chameleons out in front, they're able to go toe-to-toe with squirrels if you can play them right, if you micro them right. We'll see if that happens in this particular game. Both players, let's see, Licante's gone for 8 farms into the Warren, and Lev's gone for 7 farm into Warren, very standard into 8th Warren. Look at the map here. Looks like Licante does have a safe expansion down in the south. Lev also has a safe expansion. So both players with their safe expansions, and the rest of the grist mills are kind of spread out across the rest of the map. But I definitely, looks like Licante's gone for snake first this time, and 1 machine gun to try and help him fend off any early attacks. Lev, of course, has gone for just squirrels, a very standard meta play.
Yeah, I think those snakes is, with this weird build, probably the first thing he's going to want to build. They hold out the best versus a large amount of squirrels, I believe. The falcons will just die fairly quickly. So he probably wants to be building those snakes. But he's quickly following up with chameleons, which I think are also a good option. They're a little bit tanky. They do good damage. They can burst stuff down. He can use them to backdoor. He's building 4 of them now. This is pretty ridiculous. Lev is trying to get a nice angle on. He finds a little opening there.
All right, the 1 snake is down, but the 2nd snake is out. A machine gun coming out to try and kind of force Lev away, and it looks like Lev's forces are cut down to just 5 squirrels. Reinforcements coming in. Definitely could have kept pushing in there, but it looks like that machine gun there was forcing him to go away. So instead, he decides to expand. Definitely a safe bet at the time. The first chameleon is out for Licante, with 2 snakes to follow up, and I think this is a very smart move if you're going for all tier 2s. You have a lot of chameleons in the front to tank damage, and the snakes in the back. Which, as long as you, of course, if you tag any unit with a snake, it'll take 30 damage over a period of 30 seconds, 1 damage per second. Unless you have pigeons, which Lev does, and he's building right now. The first pigeon's already out, which means these snakes' poison is going to be very much lessened in this matchup.
So Licante, in terms of army value, is kind of ahead. He's got more raw army value, but I question his choices of these units. He's got 4 chameleons and 2 snakes. So in terms of raw army value, he's got a little edge. Or he had. Lev is catching up very fast with large amounts of squirrels, actually. It's going to be really interesting to see. I want to see Licante win this with the unconventional build.
All right, here we go. Lev running in to try and take the snakes out, and Licante hasn't revealed that he has lots and lots of chameleons that. It looks like he's backed up just barely out of the range of that sniper balloon, and Lev's going to go for the easy target instead of this mill that's just building. And Licante's going to rush to try and defend as much as he can. Those chameleons still haven't revealed themselves. There we go. Surprise chameleons in your back, Ryans, taking out the ferrets. And the rest of the squirrels starting to die, but those pigeons, both pigeons dying, so squirrels hastily trying to get out of there. Snakes picking off a couple more units.
That water there really hindered those chameleons. They couldn't do anything. They couldn't get anywhere close to the squirrels, and the squirrels just melted them. Loads of damage coming out of them. So Licante is just going to have to really focus here. He's going up to 6 chameleons. He's building falcons now, and he's got a good sniper balloon at the front, but he's going to suffer from losing farms very soon. It's coming out to the 5-minute mark. And he can't really take that expansion. It's just too dangerous. Lev just he will keep destroying it if he tries to get it. He's going to have to take this one to the east, which he does do. And he's going to have to hold it.
a little bit safer in terms of closeness to your own base, and LeConte has been leaning very heavily on turrets. Of course, Lev has ferrets out. Ferrets can outrange turrets in most cases. We'll see if LeConte can build enough turrets to defend this position, as just tier 2s I don't think is going to cut it. Meanwhile, Lev is up to 8 farms. His initial 4 dying, but he has expanded. And, oh, looks like LeConte is caught up again in terms of army value, but again, I doubt the use here. Chameleons, 5 chameleons, taking out both Warrens up there, so doing a little bit of economic damage, 120 food. Not quite paying for themselves yet, but definitely 6 chameleons gets a little scary when you're bringing them around. They can melt through a lot of things. They do a lot of damage per hit. Lev bringing out the owl, though. Owl's about 3/4 done. It's going to be out very soon. LeConte bringing out the falcons to try and pick off some Warrens. He does pick off one pig.
Yeah, he takes that pig out, and Lev just couldn't respond because he was up north taking that little base up there to the north. But that owl is out now.
All right, here we go. Owl in the front there. The owl, of course, throws up mice every few seconds. But if the owl does go down, 6 mice will pop out, and down it goes. 6 mice out into just the tier 2s that LeConte has. And it looks like LeConte's actually doing okay. He's losing a lot of his army, but almost all the squirrels are dead. They're the last squirrel just got tagged. And all that's left are falcons against ferrets. And of course, ferrets can't hit falcons. The reinforcements for Lev coming in to reinforce now, but almost a good engagement.
We're seeing the problem though with these tier 2 armies. Like, he can get a fairly even engagement, but Lev is just back again. He's got these tier 1s back because they reinforce so fast. And wow, okay.
Alright, so Lev is going to take game 1 there in this best of 5 set. We'll see if LeConte can adjust this strategy at all. I mean, I think he had the right idea going, at least. Maybe getting chameleons out a little bit ahead, or maybe being a little bit more aggressive to try and prevent. Because I think once Lev got his army base rolling, they just kind of reinforced so quickly that any engagement has to be won and then immediately followed up on with punishment.
Yeah, definitely.
Here we go. We're going to go into LeConte Lev game 2. This is going to be number 12. Hunchy, you ready to start this?
I am ready.
All right, that poll has been wiped, so go ahead and vote for who you think is going to win this next match. I'm going to start this game in 3, 2, 1.
And here we go. Game 2 of LeConte versus Lev. We have LeConte to the east in blue, Lev to the southwest in yellow once again. And LeConte switched up his build again. He's going for skunks instead of snakes. And we haven't seen skunks do at all well this tournament. Did well in July Joust, but we've seen a lot of changes. So skunks aren't particularly effective right now, or at least from what we've seen them be deployed. But maybe LeConte can pull something out. I'd be interested to see how he takes this on. What do you think, Captain?
Especially now that Lev has pigeons every time. LeConte, I think, was trying to switch up maybe a little bit, but the snakes will do a little bit more damage than the skunks will, and those pigeons from Lev will keep his army going even through that skunk fog. So unfortunately, I don't think skunks are going to be playing a large role in this match. We'll see, though. LeConte trying to make 8 farm into tier 2 work yet again. Nice open map, though. Lots of choke points in the south, but in the north, wide open fields and a couple of grist mills here and there. LeConte with a very nice natural expansion there right outside of his base, but slim pickings for anything besides that natural. Does have nice defendable bases, but we'll see. Not going to do well for the kind of economic build that he has to do.
No, he's going... Both players gone 8 farm, but LeConte's gone 8 farm into chameleon. Lev has gone 8 farm into double squirrel, which I think is probably better.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes. Early chameleons can be pretty strong. They can maybe surprise a player with how fast they can take down some pigs or maybe even a base. So maybe he can surprise Lev with some kind of backstab attack. Lev, I wouldn't be surprised though if he expects something like that from LeConte, because LeConte has been trying not so much these cheesy builds, but it's more like alternate builds, just trying to get something else to work. And I think Lev will recognize that fairly shortly, especially seeing as he's got tier 2 warriors.
Lev has already expanded into that nice natural base that he has. He has seen the Chameleon is out right now, so he knows that LeConte has gone for tier 2 first. There was a nice machine gun blocking that tiny bridge pathway there that I think was well placed, but LeConte sold it in favor of getting units out faster. He's soon going to have 4 Chameleons out, and against 10 squirrels, it's only going to take 2 hits to more than half that army. There we go. First 2 are out, scything away at this army here, not losing 1, so that's pretty good engagement for LeConte. Backing off, not losing a single unit here. Now he's got his full force out. He's starting to get skunks out. And he's got those pigeons to heal himself up, but Lev is going to be pulling ahead in economy if he keeps building these farms here.
This is actually quite a big problem for LeConte here, because with this kind of weird melee army, he can't defend his expansion really at all. With all that water, that's actually bad for him. So Lev is going to fairly easily pull ahead in economy. These skunks could be interesting if he uses that little bridge right outside of his base, the little cliff bridge. Then skunks might be quite effective. But he's kind of stuck in a corner here, and this is going to go very badly for him, I think. He loses our skunk.
Skunk is out. It's been caught out. The Lev does not have pigeons yet, so a couple of squirrels running through and taking a bit of damage, but those chameleons trying to do as much damage as they can. The machine gun is up in the background, but the last chameleon does go down right now. And Lev is going to take this game. LeConte says, I can't come back from that. Lost most of his army. So Lev taking game 2, unfortunately, in this best of 5 series, which means that LeConte has one last chance to take any sort of game off of Lev, or he will be out of these quarterfinals. Hunter, are you ready to jump into this last game here?
I am ready. Let's go.
Alrighty. We're going to go ahead and reset this poll here, so you guys can vote on who you think is going to win this last match here. Will it be LeConte taking his first game, or Lev shutting out LeConte with a 3-0? I'm going to start this game in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, going to game 3 of LeConte, who is to the north in blue, versus his opponent, Lev, who is to the south in yellow. So LeConte going with a little bit more of a usual build, although still not quite meta. He's going with the lizards, which aren't that popular right now, but I think are still quite strong. And we have the chameleons, which he very much likes, moles, and foxes. Lev, just keep going with the standard stuff. I mean, it's working for him. He has no reason to change. He's 2 games ahead. I don't think there's any pressure on him right now.
Yeah,
he just needs to take this game, and he will go on to the semi-finals. But LeConte, not to be counted out, very strong player. We'll see what happens.
I should clarify that I don't actually know what happens here. It could be the last game. It could be the first of an amazing comeback from LeConte. We will see. This map is huge, and it does have a very, very defensible base. There's only 2 ways in and out of it, and one of them is a tiny choke point. So LeConte is able to hold off any early pressure. That's good for him, and the map is huge, which means Lev is going to spend a lot of time just getting units over. There's a nice roadway to speed that process up a little bit, but we'll see. Lev gone for those into swirls just like normal, and LeConte has gone for lizards?
Yeah, he's gone 7 farm into double lizard, was that? He's going for some sort of lizard rush, maybe. It's not a very good map for it at all. With that choke, or not so much a choke point, but just only 1 entrance to his base, I don't think this is going to work at all.
Yeah,
he's going with a mole on the high ground as well.
Lev isn't expecting it, though. He's expecting LeConte to do what he's done for every other game here. He's only got 4 squirrels out right now. The lizards are coming in to try and take this down. The mole is there to support, so he might have caught Lev a little bit off guard here. We'll see if he can take this game. 4 lizards out. No more lizards coming along that roadway to try and reinforce, and LeConte's going to get 60 food here. 4 squirrels on the field, 5 squirrels now. So a good engagement for LeConte.
But he is going to lose that mole.
Yeah.
It looks like he's going to lose that mole, which will actually, if he does, even up that trade. We'll see. Oh no, he does escape from the mole! Okay, that was a little That was a nice little play, I guess.
The roadway.
Really, really weird though.
Yeah, roadway giving a little boost, but I think does have a large army advantage over Lev right now. LeConte does. Taking that base there, which is a great way to expand to try and lock down that upper plateau there. Putting down more lizard warrens and some barbed wire to boot. So LeConte completely switching up his strategy, deciding I can't do this anymore. Although Lev does have 12 squirrels out now and is getting pigeons, so it might be too little, too late, unfortunately, against especially a player like Lev.
Yeah, and he's also taken those moles, which a lot of players don't like the moles at all. But he's taken those moles, and that's going to allow him to easily be able to clean up this barbed wire if LeConte backs off from it. So that's not even going to be too much of a problem. He goes in, and just nothing.
LeConte trying to maybe cancel. He does get that sniper balloon canceled, but Lev just places it back down. So unfortunately, he loses a lot of lizards for just a little bit of time gain in terms of when that sniper balloon is going to come up. He has managed to fairly much secure this base here. So he's got at least this base and maybe another one if he can make this game last long enough.
He's actually ahead on Econ this game.
Wow.
He's got way more farms than, or he will have way more farms than Lev. He has slightly more right now, but it's not the greatest situation. With that build and this positioning, Lev using that position like expertly, there's no way LeConte can surround, really. He would have to go all the way around that cliff. It's just not going to happen. Like this map, Lev has completely locked him in here. There's no other way for LeConte to go. He's trying to go this way. It's not going to happen.
Here we go, trying to dance back out. Lev does have a mole of his own now. He's going to start picking away at that barbed wire. Just one mole, unfortunately, taking down that barbed wire. So we're not going to see any classic metal barbed wire dealing 40 damage in this game, unfortunately. More barbed wire going down in the front of LeConte's base, though, and Lev is going to start putting down his ferrets to transition into his tier 2s. But LeConte's already on 15 farms. Lev is only at 13, and he just put down two or three of those. So LeConte is very far ahead in terms of economy. He's building another base right now. Those ferrets are going to start picking up the high ground, and unfortunately they're going to take down LeConte's... Oh no, he sells it just in time. Not getting quite the full value back, but getting 72 food back because of that damage taken. And that... That one ferret picking away. Those lizards don't quite have enough range to throw their spears off that ledge and onto that ferret. So the ferret's going to get a couple free shots in. And Lev's going to...
LeConte is building a fox now.
Whoa!
And I think that's probably what he needs. He just needs range of some sort. Because Lev is completely taking advantage of the fact that he has none of this. Lev is just bombing him from all sides. And he's got those squirrels to back him up along that cliff. Just LeConte is such an awkward position here. His units are so unversatile.
Yeah. Lizard Warren after Lizard Warren getting taken down, so although he could have had about 30 lizards out on the field, he's only going to have, looks like 23, and a couple of those don't have Warrens. So he's going to have an enormous lizard army that can't get reinforced. Only 15 lizards worth of Warrens left on the field, and Lev's trying to search for more that he can take out, but nothing more he can find at the moment. LeConte now even with Lev in terms of economy. Lev pulling ahead just slightly, but LeConte's been ahead for so long. That fox is going to be out right now, so that fox is out, and LeConte has 30 lizards out on the field. So we'll see if he's able to cut through this army of squirrels here. That's a lot of lizards. Holy crap, 31 to 21 squirrels. But there's a wolf coming out for Lev. I don't know if it's going to be in time.
And this fox is poking away at this warren here, but it's really not that effective. Lev's got those ferrets, so LeConte is going to have to keep this fox dancing. That's going to use up a little bit of his time. If he catches like 2 shots, that's just going to insta-kill that fox. There's a lot of pressure on here.
Ooh, just barely missing that. The squirrel's moving up onto the high ground. Lev's going to push forward a little bit, but that giant lizard army is standing there at the ready, backed up by a couple of moles. Both players on 10 farms. That's so many units. The wolf is out now. That's what Lev was waiting for. And this is going to be disastrous for LeConte. He's going to have to wait till that wolf buff is gone.
Yep.
There he goes. Wolf buff is down. He used to not engage yet. There, the wolf buff is gone now. Now he moves in. That lizard speed coming beautifully from the back, scything through the backs of the squirrels. as it goes. That wolf hasn't taken any damage yet, but lots of damage coming from that fox in the back there. The wolf buff goes down again, and I don't know if that'll be enough to take through. The wolf buff is gone now, and the army of Lev is gone. The wolf is at half health here. That fox firing from the background. Oh, is it going to take it down? He does! He takes it down. LeConte on 9 farms.
I thought he was overextending, but he takes that windmill, and that's an amazing boon to him. And Lev's army just got completely destroyed in that fight. Those lizards, that whole sea of lizards moving in. It's amazing to see.
Fantastic timing from LeConte there, waiting for that buff to disappear, and then scything down the lizards with lizards from the back. Buff goes down maybe a little bit early. LeConte doesn't pull his units back this time, but the buff is already gone. Taking down that sniper balloon. Ooh, not quite down yet. Looks like a lot of his lizards are going to get taken out by his army, so unfortunately, not good enough. And he's going to say, my army is gone. Lev, I concede to you.
Oh,
that was an amazing.
So close.
That was so good.
So close, that game. Oh, if it just waited just a bit longer for that boost to end, or just to get more of his army.
That
was amazing.
It's one of the most perfect timing attacks against a wolf army that I've ever seen. That's how you're supposed to do this. Let's take it back.
Lizards are perfect for that. That was great. That was just great.
All right, let's take this back to our casting desk so we can analyze those 3 games we just saw. Shoefly Pie, your thoughts on those 3 games?
So I'm going to mostly focus on that last game because that was great, especially that last play with the Lev pulling the lizards back, waiting out the wolf buff, and then swarming in and taking a huge advantage. That was amazing. That's gonna be something that we're gonna point to for a long time when people ask, "How do I deal with wolf?" That's how you do it.
Well, I still lost, but that was a good game.
Conte got greedy at the very end there. He wanted that sniper balloon so bad.
Actually, I misplaced my rally, so the back of my army wasn't actually attacking because they weren't in range. I just wanted it. I mean, I made a mistake at the end.
I think when he realized that, it probably would have been better just to get out. But I will say, Game 1, we did see the return of Lev's Owl Fox. Although he didn't get the Fox. He only had the Owl Elf. It was good enough. I mean, sorry, Owl Wolf. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that game, the biggest mistake LeConte made was building the mill to the north that was in the middle of water, because he had to move his melee chameleons through the water to be able to get into the fight. Whereas Lev had a road to get into that area. So Lev could reinforce a lot quicker, and LeConte couldn't really get his units in to make a difference. And that really hurt him in that fight, put him behind for that game.
All right, well, with that, all of our quarterfinals are complete now. We've seen every single match here has been 3-0'd with the top player, the higher seed. No upsets this time, unfortunately. But tomorrow we're going to see Deadbones versus Classic Metal in a rematch of last tournament, actually, of July Joust. They met in the semifinals last tournament as well, or they met in the bronze match. So they're going to be fighting again. They've definitely seen each other play before. And we'll see how that turns out. And of course, the second match of the day is going to be LOL Steamroller versus Lev. Definitely 2 players. I'm very interested to see how they're going to dance around. Lev, of course, a very strong player, but LOL Steamroller proving that he also can hold his stuff in the higher brackets. LeConte, any thoughts about the semifinals tomorrow?
Deadbones beat Classic Metal 2-0 in the group play. It was kind of close games both times, so I'm pretty sure Classic Metal can figure out a way to beat Deadbones if he prepares for the match. And if he I don't know how exactly he could. I don't have the golden ticket to victory against Deadbones because nobody does. But they're closely matched, so it should be a great series to look forward to again. And then LOL Steamroller versus Lev. Lev is a great player. He's got the current patch, the tournament patch. He's got a different style than most players, but he understands how to play the map. He understands timings. His wolf play is great. And then LOL Steamroller was surprising. I mean, I didn't expect him in the semifinals, but clearly he's found his way into the semifinals. And as Best Teammaker was saying, he researches his opponents carefully. And with Lev, I think he has a lot to study to try and find a hole in that great play that Lev has been showing over the course of the tournament.
It should also be noted that Lowell's team actually beat Lev in the group stages. I believe this.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. So Lowell's team does have a nice bit of a morale advantage here, as he did beat Lev. But I mean, we did see the return of Alf Wolf for Lev in that last match. So I think Lev is starting to sort of experiment more with different types of loadouts. So it'd be interesting to see how he sort of counters Lowell in the next match against him.
All right, well, with that, let's go through one last question. Who do we think is going to take the grand final? Shufapai, who are you betting on taking the grand final?
I'm going to have to go with Deadbones. He's played the same deck with like just a few changes to one unit throughout the whole tournament so far. So he's very practiced on it. He's got it very efficient, and he knows what his limits with it. And he may have some tricks up his sleeve that he hasn't had to reveal yet. So, yeah, I'm gonna put my money on Deadbones.
All right, LeConte, who are you betting on taking the grand finals tomorrow?
My mind says Deadbones, but my heart says Lev. He's been playing great. He's been doing his own thing, and I think he can take it.
All right, Best Teammaker, who's your call for the grand final winner and the champion of September Showdown tomorrow?
I mean, Deadbones has been very consistent throughout this whole event. It's going to be interesting to see if Cosmo can pull off anything against him, but I do see Deadbones just moving on to the grand finals. And Lev, if Lev does beat Lowell Seymour and make his way to the grand finals, he does have a chance to actually beat Deadbones. They're actually pretty close in terms of their matchup. We've seen them face each other in grand finals of the Strawberry Cup a couple times, so they are very close in terms of how good they are. It's just going to depend on how Lev sort of adapts to Deadbones' strategies, and if we're going to see any changes from Deadbones' loadout, because he's been very consistent in not only in how he plays, but just what he brings to the battlefield.
All right, and last but not least, Hunter, who are you betting on to win the tournament tomorrow?
I don't think we can count anyone out here because everyone's been playing really great. But I think the most consistent player and someone who's been on top form like almost every game has got to be Deadbones. I think Deadbones has got a great chance to win this tournament.
All right, well, I'm going to cast my vote in for Lev. I would love to see Lev dethrone Deadbones. I know Deadbones hasn't won any Clash of Comrades tournaments, but in the past, I think he's had his fair share of winning. I'd love to see Lev beat Deadbones to take September Showdown. That is all the stream we have for you guys today. Join us tomorrow at 3 p.m. EDT, same time, same place, for the semifinals and the grand finals, as well as the bronze match. So for now, enjoy your Saturday evening. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being with us. Hunter, Bestie, LeConte, and Shuflapai, thank you so much for being here and casting with me. And I will hope to see all of you casters and all of you people watching tomorrow. Thank you very much.